Hello, my beautiful gemstones. Welcome to our weekend live intuitive oracle stream. As many of you have probably already noticed immediately, I am at my mom's. So hopefully we have full cooperation from RJ for the next hour, and he keeps it down for us. But I'm so happy to be here. I really missed you guys last weekend and throughout the week. I feel like my week just isn't the same without this stream. So it is good to be back here. Lots of stuff going on personally, professionally, and just learning how to keep it pushing. I just woke up from a nap, so I'm sure my energy will spurt at some point. But yeah, good to see you all. I hope you all have had a great 2 weeks, because it's been 2 weeks since we've been together. Next week, the show will be on Friday, and I'll be back in my office at home. So let's see what we got here. Myth Lotus Girl, what's up, girl? Aunt Edna, Mama Cindy Lee, hello. I love that little pink hand and the pink guy. I don't know why. I just think they're so adorable. The Bat Mom, Miss Darling Deb, hello. Blue Crossroads, Saturday Night Fever, indeed. Yes. Mark Holstead, what's up, sweetheart? Vixen Doe, Forest Friend. What's up, everybody? Thank you all for coming in. Oh, thank you, Miss Lotus. Yes, this is my third pink one that I bought because I kind of wear them into the ground really quickly, but I just love them so much. So thank you for that. I also got myself, I remember talking recently in some live stream with y'all about the emerald necklace and how much I love emeralds and how much I was bummed that I couldn't wear the emerald necklace that I bought because it just didn't vibe with me. And I wanted to see if it was just that particular piece or if it was emerald in general. Seems to be just that particular piece because I'm wearing this one all day and I've been doing great. Area 51, what is up? Thank you guys. Let me bring in Sir Ghost Dragons here.
Hello, everybody. Evening.
Hey, buddy.
Excuse me. Evening, everybody. Hello, Vixen. Hello, Aunt Anna. And I hope you're feeling better, hon. Area 51 or 51. And Vixen. Smoochy.
Smoochy girl, you've been saying that for a few days now. When is your actual birthday? Because you said that and I'm like, wait, how did I not know Smoochy's birthday was on Valentine's Day? I know you're an Aquarius. I know that for sure, an Aquarius sun. I was just talking about that on Thursday because we did afternoon talk on Thursday. And I was like, Aquarius is the least, what's the word? The least, it's the sign that the least people have, like in the world. And I remember saying, I don't know many, my sister Carol and Miss Smoochy, the 17th.
Today.
Oh, so today.
Today.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I won't get into it. I'm so glad to see you all. Smoochy, welcome back. Yes. Love you too, sweetie. No, Forest Friend, it's actually today. I do the same thing, though. I kind of do like a birthday week. Like yesterday, I posted this meme on Facebook that said, happy birthday to me in a week. Don't forget. But it's 2 weeks from yesterday, my birthday. But I do the whole 2 weeks to a month thing too. Oh, Porky's in Aquarius. Aquarius and Leo, that's actually a good match. Sun-wise, anyway. It really does depend on the moon because I know, like for me, I'm a Pisces sun and we are emotional and daydreamy and a little wishy-washy. But that air moon, it really does take the emotion out of a lot that would normally be there for a Pisces. What's up, Roger? All right. Let's just jump right in, guys. Let's do Smoochy first. She's the birthday girl, Miss Lotus, if you don't mind. And what are we going to do? Let's do Deep, Dark, and Dangerous, starting off with the Blue Crossroads deck. Oh, it's LIB. Yeah, that's right. He's an Aquarius too. I guess I know more than I thought. I'm going to have to text him. Whenever it's Aquarius season, I'm just like, I don't know anyone. But the past year, I've met quite a few people, I guess. February Aquarius is, my sister's going to be a little upset with me for this. Okay, with the exception of my sister, I prefer February Aquariuses than I do January Aquariuses. She's eating cereal. All right, Miss Smoochie, let's see. Sybil, the card of foresight. Card number 13. It is a deep card. I just got to wake up a little bit. I'm still in my nap because normally I don't nap. But at my mom's, it's so tempting because I could just lay there on the couch and she just watches RJ for me. So tempting actually not to. Develop rituals that will benefit and support you. Connect more strongly with your higher power. Intuition is valuable at this time. Use everything available to you to make a decision. Sometimes the answer is not clear immediately, but give it time. Get support from a trusted, wise friend. In the ancient world, particularly around the Mediterranean, there were female oracles who were consulted for their abilities to look into the future. These wise women, called sibyls, were powerful and often educated, and so they were feared. The Sibyl herself did not go by her given name, but by the name of the site of her temple. Her old identity was washed away when she trained to become a Sibyl. For example, there was the Sibyl of Samos, the Samian Sibyl on the island of Samos. The Sibyls usually spoke the words of the deity that was honored at the site, or the deity guided the divination method she used, and there was complex and deep ritual that surrounded her. Multifaceted Jules, what's up, girl? When consulting a Sibyl, the shamanic style journey started for the petitioner by the act of traveling towards the Sibyl, and the psychological preparations of this kind of pilgrimage consolidated on the often long journey. There were a number of well-known Sibyls across the Greek and Roman empires, and historically, there's the idea of a network of 10 shrines with 10 Sibyls. The most famous Sibyl was that of Delphi. The term Sibyl would have predated the eventual specific label of the priestess there, eventually referred to as the Pythia. The temple complex dedicated to the god Apollo and also his twin Artemis was the most powerful in the ancient world. Alexander the Great, King Croesus, Pythagoras, Socrates, and Lysander consulted with Sibyls there. Set high in the mountains with a valley leading to the sea, this place was not just atmospherically special, but was geometrically active. It was a place of earthquakes and deep springs and cracks that leaked gases. The Pythia sat on a three-legged stool within a cave that released vapors deep from within the earth. This always just surprises me. I mean, they really thought that, they probably were receiving visions, but I'm sure the gases that they were breathing in were helping, I don't know. Like, I used to be like, well, of course they were getting high, but I don't think so. I think it just enhanced it. We know that the natural gas was most likely a kind of methane. This changed the mental state of the priestess, enabling her to go into a trance so she could receive the words of Apollo directly. Her messages were not always clear, and there were other sacred staff there to assist people with the interpretations. Some messages, though, were crystal clear. For example, when Roman Emperor Nero visited the oracle, he was told by the Sibyl, "Your presence here outrages the god you seek. Go home." We know before the visit, Nero had murdered many people, including his own mother. Your plant companion is Bay, and your crystal companion, Lapis Lazuli, which is actually pretty common, but absolutely beautiful. Smoochie, I feel like you're coming into a time, and I think I talked about this a lot in the beginning of the year last year. So with your birthday, especially being here, this is a time of rebirth for you. Whether you've been putting the work in or not, it will be a time of rebirth always, around your birthday. But for someone searching and seeking and looking for answers, and I'm sorry the screen is shaking, I can't help it. Every time I move, it does. This will be a really important time for you in like the next month to 3 months, where you're really spiritually elevating, but also learning things, seeing things from different points of view. You may have thought up to this point you were set in your ideas about something or your idea of something or someone. You're going to come to find out in the next 3 months, there is going to be major radical change. And the reason for this is because you're feeling lately, and I think I can confidently say that you are feeling this because I think we all are to some degree. that something in your life just isn't working for you. And in order for you to be able to make this thing work or move away from people, places, and things that no longer serve you, that is, people, places, and things that don't work for you anymore, you may have to think outside of the box. Now, you're already an outside of the box kind of thinker. All Aquarian suns are, okay? Very unemotional a lot of the time about things, just, not that you don't care about other people's feelings, but to you, it just doesn't make sense to waste too much time on the feelings part of it when there are things actually happening, where are the facts to be looked at, very, I guess, more analytical for the most part. It always depends on your chart. And you're going to be finding out some things either through someone you trust, okay, or through your own just research, investigation, that something you believed either all along or for a while may not actually be the case. It may not be what's working for you to believe in or believe about this particular thing or this person. But I think it's going to have a shock. It's going to come as a shock, right? But as you grow and as you evolve, that's going to keep happening more and more until finally you come out of the dark night of the soul and move into the spiritual awakening part of this, which is coming in the next 3 months. Even if it seems like you don't feel like it's even possible that in the next 3 months, most things in your life could be looking up and everything could be, for the most part, okay, or at least livable, tolerable. That is what's coming in. As long as you continue to put the work in, continue researching and investigating. If you're unsure about something or something someone tells you, don't just believe something because 40 of your closest friends or family members believe it. I don't care if 100% of them believe in something. You are an independent thinker, a free thinker, and you have an analytical mind more than an emotional one. So I do feel like some things you're getting behind, some things you're believing in may turn some people on their toes. It may even turn some people away from you. Your challenge in the next 3 months, as you go through this and learn and grow and evolve into who you're supposed to be and into this awakening, is to not care and just be like, you know what? I love this person anyway, whether or not they believe in what I believe in. And if they're not mature enough to continue a relationship or a friendship through that non-simpatico of our beliefs, I guess, then that's okay too. Being able to learn new things, accept new ideas that you may have been like, I will never believe that. Or I will never, you'll never be able to prove that to me. Those types of revelations are coming to you in the next 3 months. And learning to be able to let go, move on into the best possible experience of your life. And for you, a little bit more selfishly than you normally would. Instead of wondering, well, I know the best thing for me, but what is this person going to do? What's that person? No, it's going to be like, well, this is the best thing for me. And if you've been there with me, supporting me all along, even when I was low, come on with me. If you haven't, you're kind of on your own, like you left me. Those types of ideas and those things changing in you, where I don't think that's normally how you would have been. Major, major, major significant change coming in. And I do think it's going to start with a spark of knowledge of you feeling that you've been deceived all along about something. I don't think it's like a personal thing. I'm not talking about like your husband cheating or like, your daughter lying to you about something. I'm talking about like a very big belief that like shapes a lot of your thought process. Is just coming into, and it doesn't have to be religious, doesn't have to be spiritual. It could literally be about anything. It could be about money. It could be about anything, where you're going to be like, wow, okay, not falling into that again, not just ever jumping on the bandwagon again, because it's so against the grain for you to do so in the first place. I think the fact that you did so because you trusted other people who believed in this person, believed in this thing, etc. I think it's really going to open your eyes to the fact that you need to always remain an independent and free thinker. Oh, listen to this, guys. So this morning, or this afternoon, really, at 12 noon, I did an hour-long interview with Doug and his friend. I believe his name was Mike, MUFON Mike. Might have been Mark, and I do apologize if you guys are listening. At Alien Probe podcast. I keep going to call it something else pro, but I told them that and they laughed. So it just keeps popping into my head, you know? But I did that and they just sent me the link right before I started this stream. So right after, I will share that on Facebook and in the community tab here on YouTube. So they're on YouTube, but they're also on Rumble. So yeah, Smoochie, I like to give long birthday readings. You're coming into a lot of major changes, and a lot of it is like in here, you know, not so much physical things changing in your life, but a lot of your beliefs, your thought process, thought processes and your ideals. All right, now let's move on to Miss Lotus. Unless someone was here first that I didn't see. Because sometimes I only look at StreamYard, not YouTube. All right, Miss Lotus girl. Let's use Queen Mabe. Mike Roberts, what's up, sweetie? Who else came in? Melissa Nicole. Thank you, Miss Deb. Yeah, it was a fun time. It really was. I had a lot of fun. I like being interviewed. I'm kind of in my element because I can freely talk about whatever it is we're discussing, and especially when it's a good interviewer. You know, like I said with Dave, where they just kind of let me move the conversation around where I'm comfortable. Excuse me. Because then I don't feel put on the spot. You know what I mean? Like when someone just blasts off questions and doesn't let me think. Ghost Dragons, you did just say something, but you were on mute.
I didn't see her, Lotus. I didn't start taking names, checking the list until a little after 6.
Okay.
So you can do Batmom next.
Yeah, let's do Batmom first then, if that's the case.
Okay.
We're going to use Fairy Forest. Guys, I still have not gotten that writing contract yet. I'm waiting. It's in the works. It's just like these big business millionaire types. They take forever to decide, I guess, what to put their money into. And it's been very stressful. So if you're able to donate, please don't forget to do that. Of course, you guys are never obligated. I'm here anyway. But if you're able to, yeah. I saw her come in. Yeah, Batmom, are you even here? You mean Dave Schrader? Yeah. Or do you mean Steve Stockton? I've done several interviews with Dave Schrader recently. Let me just read for Batmom just in case, because I know she has these major Wi-Fi issues. Oh, you mean, yeah. Yeah, but you know what? If he never did that, Ghost Dragons and I probably never would have started streaming together. But I do appreciate you saying that. It was a hard blow at the time, but, you know, that's one of the things that made me realize that, you know, everything really does happen for a reason. Okay. Yeah, she mixed two people together, but I knew it was one or the other. Thank you, guys. Miss Batmom, you got card number 4, the Shapeshifter. Transformation, Primal Wisdom, and Instinct. Card number 4. You are able to change, my friend. All the things that have stirred within you, things that you have not even dared to whisper aloud, will soon become clear to others because you are transforming. Do not let the fear of being different stop you from this moment, this miracle, when the instinctual true self becomes manifest. You can do what you think is unlike you. You have told yourself again and again who you are, and many a time you have merely gone ahead with what feels comfortable for you without daring yourself to truly be who you are. So again, before we even really get started here, Batmom, we're talking about comfort zones, right? This message for you is to get ready to change. Get ready to be amazed at just what you can do when you give yourself a chance, at what you can become when you receive the same opportunities as others, but most importantly, what you can achieve when you dare yourself to go further. The story of your soul is so much more than you have allowed it to be, and within you are so many more possibilities. Do not deny yourself this chance to develop and grow. You are so many creatures, so many beings. Now it is time to explore that which once frightened you and which will ultimately become one of your greatest adventures yet. Batmom, definitely beyond the crossroads here. I feel like you are someone who maybe got stuck in the rut of a comfort zone, right? Who got comfortable in a situation that maybe was less than ideal, a situation you may not have ever really seen yourself in. But it's kind of like I always said in addiction, this is just for me personally, I would always say when I was in addiction that like, oh, well, I may have done this, but I'll never do that. And then I did that. And I'm like, well, I may have done that, but I'll never do this. And then I did this. You know what I mean? It's always somewhere something I can never see myself doing. And I would always do it, either to go along or to get along, right? Or because I was just comfortable with no boundaries. This is something like that, not the addiction part, but just talking about you are finally coming to a place where something significant has changed or happened to either to you or to someone very close to you, where you are just like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and do whatever's necessary, no matter how hard it is, to make sure that this doesn't happen again. You became complacent somewhere. The thing about you, though, is you're able to adapt, right? You are a very adaptive person. So many of us are. So many of us are in this community are very adaptable. We very easily go along just to get along. We can read people, so therefore we can follow other people's trains of thoughts just to be on the same side as them for whatever reason, either to gain something, to not have to deal with conflict, etc. This is you blazing your own path forward, Batmom, and being who you really were meant to be without anyone or anything holding you back. Because I think something just happened recently where it's like you don't have the fear of the unknown anymore. Because you're like, I tried everything I knew possible to stay in this comfort zone, and I ended up very uncomfortable anyway. So now, with quote unquote nothing to lose, or feeling that way, or feeling like whatever you did lose would be just a necessary sacrifice, right? Maybe a necessary evil towards becoming who you were truly meant to be in the space you were truly meant to be in. So I'd say in the next week or two, take big chances. I'm not saying take dangerous risks, but take big chances. Don't listen so much to what other people have to say. Okay. You can take other people's advice. I always say this, you can ask for advice, but you don't have to take it. But I don't see you really asking for advice, Batmom. I see you just being like, nope, don't care, not allowing that to happen again, moving forward and really like blazing this trail forward for yourself where you're not even looking back. If you follow through with this and you continue moving ahead and moving forward and being comfortable in the discomfort, you're going to be just fine. If you let overthinking, being overly analytical, that type of energy get a hold of you and stop you in your tracks, you're going to end up right back where you started from, because you're not trusting the universe. You're not taking those leaps of faith. All right. Now, Miss Lotus Girl, Queen Maid. Thank you, Miss Jules. I do too. He's much easier to deal with behind the scenes as well. Not saying anything bad about anybody, but some people are divas and some are not. And you cannot have two divas. Yeah, you can't have two divas. It just doesn't work. But all relationships, I value what that relationship brought to my life and to my career for the time that it was there. But I'm definitely very happy with where I am now, specifically professionally. I just wish I could get some dang permanent income, but that'll come, that'll come. All right, Miss Lotus Girl. Dive into the fire. I don't use this deck very often. My nose is itching. There's a lot of spirit in here. Surprise at Mom's. Wow, it's itching big time. I don't use this deck often, but I notice when I do, this card always comes up. If I pull 3 cards from this deck and there's 50 something, maybe even 70 something, this card will always come up every time. It's a common theme for the collective, this card, the Phoenix from the ashes. I'm going to get up at around 8:30, check on the little guy, and take my medicine because I did forget to do that. All right. Card 45. Lotus girl, let go, transform, rise anew. It is time for you to transform and be reborn. The legendary phoenix ages, wastes away, and dies. It appears certain she will never fly again, move, or even take another breath. And then there's a spark, a flame, and then a raging fire. And from that fire, the phoenix rises, glorious, glowing, and made of light. Kindle the alchemical fire of transformation now and enter into it. Let the old die forever and burn away to make room for the new. Lotus, clinging desperately to the past, will not bring it back, just as dead firewood will not once again become a sapling in spring. Release old conditions, relationships, habits, belongings, concepts, paradigms, expectations, approaches, and anything else that's ready to go. Stop trying to resuscitate it. Let it thoroughly die so it can be the kindling for your own glorious rebirth. This could be a comprehensive message, but it could also be about a single and specific quality or condition in your life, your approach to work, for example, or your living situation. Perhaps it's time to move to a new town or begin a brand new career path. If you have been feeling joyless or depressed, it's time to proactively shake things up. Get honest with yourself about the ideas and paradigms you have shaped your choices that have shaped your choices in your world. For example, you may have picked up the idea that you have to live close to your family or prepare for a sane and reasonable job that you don't even like. Look deeply and identify anything you can crumple up and throw into the flames. Tennille, even a single seemingly simple change like the shoes you wear or what you have for breakfast can act as a spark that eventually sets your world on fire, especially when you question the unexamined assumptions or patterns that have lent themselves to boredom and self-limitation. What if you're not actually the type to wear sensible shoes or eat the same old thing for breakfast every day? What if you're someone else entirely? Who is that person? So get curious and find out. Be like the phoenix. Let go of certainty, familiarity, and monotony. Be willing to let what is tired and worn out die even before you're sure that something will rise anew or what will rise anew. Dive into the fire, Lotus. You will transform and then rise, filled with magnificent light. So here's the thing. This isn't about really anything that it said in the card. But Lotus, I do feel like, I think I've told you guys this before. When I first stopped using, I didn't know how to change my life. So first thing I had to do was get comfortable in my discomfort. But the second thing I had to do was change things. And I felt like I was responsible for everything, but in control of nothing. So what did I do? I changed the order in which I washed my body, face, and hair in the shower. So instead of my hair, my face, my body, I was doing my body, my face, my hair. It sounds really silly, but changing things, like little tiny things like that, over the course of time does get you used to making changes a lot more easy. Even much bigger changes that that will have greater effect on your life and your well-being and other people around you. I already feel like you've burned up. I feel like this is more about rebirth. And we get this a lot around birthdays, like with Miss Smoochie, but also around the beginning of the year. And it is only February after all, right? It's only the middle of February. So it's still technically the beginning of the year. This is you understanding that your life may not end up looking like you thought it would look at this point in time 20 years ago. But I feel you and I see you coming to the realization, Tennille, that your life is going to look exactly as it should for you to be living your best life now, right? That everything that happened that really sucked and was horrible, and for all the times you wish this didn't happen, that didn't happen, you didn't have to go through this or deal with that embarrassment or suffer that illness. I feel like you're learning, or you have learned almost to an overwhelming point, that all of that stuff was absolutely necessary for you to be who you are. This is you coming out the other end of every single disappointment, hurt, humiliation, failure, not just your own, but others, failing you, let down, deceit, lie, all of that negative stuff, you being like, you know what? I got through all that. I'm going to get through this too. This is a newfound determination in you to cut through the BS of everything going on, get things moving much quicker, and never think twice about it. Like, no more thinking like, oh, I wouldn't say, because I don't see you feeling sorry for yourself. And I know you personally know that you don't feel sorry for yourself, but making sure that never happens, making sure that next time this isn't going to happen, because Lotus Girl is going to make sure of it. Putting yourself first, prioritizing your own peace of mind before you would worry about hurting someone else's feelings, right? This is a brand new, if your life were a play, this is a whole new act with a whole different cast of characters, and the story's moving in a whole different direction than the original script you got. You're no longer playing by the rules. You're no longer Mrs. Nice Girl. You're no longer Mrs. Go Along to get along. Now it's like, okay, I've learned all these lessons. Now it's my turn to really show people what a phoenix looks like coming out of the ashes. You will not destroy me. You will not leave me burnt in ashes on the ground. You're just no longer going to tolerate it. This has lit a fire up under your butt. And you are going to be, within the next 6 months, again, I'm hearing that 6 months, which keeps coming up even in your personal private readings, 6 months, 6 months. It's like after that, there's nothing that's going to phase you. And that's not to say you're not going to have any problems or any issues, because that's impossible. Everybody always does. But what this is saying is there's never going to be another time like this in your life. You're going to make sure of that. You've been through it all. You've seen it all, done it all, heard it all. You're moving on from it all. You just have to finish out this last chapter of this book before you open a brand new book and start writing on the blank pages. I hope this all makes sense, because so far tonight, all of the readings I've read have been completely and totally channeled through, where I kind of know what I'm saying, but I don't always fully know. So,
are you ready for your next? It's Edna.
Yeah, and now I'm going to use Alice in Wonderland. And Edna, you are so right. And Edna says, be comfortable in your own skin. The whole love yourself is a real thing. Are we perfect? No. But love the unique imperfections that are only you. There was a divine circus in there. I was like, what is this? Okay. Chew gum and kick butt. She's all like, I like that. I like it. I like it. Tennille, I also see with the more these really intense issues that you're having, like you're like, oh, if only this one thing weren't happening. The more you get through those things, I do see a lot less physical illness, exhaustion, both for you and for Porky Pie. That's not to say that any illnesses you have are going to be immediately cured, but I think you know what I'm saying. Once you get to that point where you're, taking names, taking no prisoners, really, you start feeling better, you start vibrating higher, and then a lot of that sickness, those physical illnesses, not all of them, but a lot of them will just somehow put themselves on the back burner or burn away and dissolve altogether. A phoenix rising from the ashes is a huge symbol, and I wish that I was able to explain it to you a little better. It is a major, major message of transformation and extreme growth. All right, Miss Aunt Edna. Okay. So if you guys have been with me for a while, which most of you have, there's one card out of all like 200 decks that I have that I resonate with so much more than any other. That is this card. And I really relate to this card. Never a jam today. Promises that never come to be, empty words, and not living in the now. And you got that in the upright. Well, Blue Crossroads, you can either go get it and haul your butt back here, or leave it there and keep your cookies right where they are. Sorry. My mom and RJ are arguing over word bingo. I hear my mom going, "Stop it, you're lying." He's like, "No, I'm not." She's like, "You're a cheater." Sounds like me and him playing Fortnite. Sorry, I napped right before this. I didn't get a lot of nicotine. All right, Aunt Edna, here you go. Alice couldn't help laughing as she said, "I don't want you to hire me, and I don't care for jam." "It's very good jam," said the Queen. "Well, I don't want any today, at any rate." "You couldn't have it if you did want it," the Queen said. "The rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today." When the White Queen makes her outrageous statement that jam is for tomorrow and for yesterday, but never for today, Alice realizes that no one ever gets any jam. When this card comes to you, what can it mean? Well, Aunt Edna, it is likely that someone is making promises that sound like there is plenty on offer, when in fact it's extremely unlikely they will ever deliver and come through with all the wonderful things they are attracting you with. Future faking is what this reminds me of. You know, narcissists do that. They future fake you. They keep you holding on and hanging on at the promise of things will be better someday, just not today. Let's just get through all of this and put up with me now, because at a later date. You see, when this card comes, someone is claiming they can do a lot of good for you, but whether they're offering a pay rise, a good time, or commitment, it's never to be. The promise is never ever delivered or enjoyed now. They exist on promises of a better future and the memories of a wonderful past, but they'll never make good on their promises when it most counts, and that's today. Fortunately, Alice is not at all attracted by the offerings of the White Queen. She literally doesn't want the jam, so she can't be manipulated. But those who do want the jam could be forever living in the hope that one day they will get that jam. The fact is, it's never ever going to happen. Listen to the person making you some rather wonderful promises or boasting about how much they can offer other people. When will they deliver? Are they always talking about the past and planning for a wonderful future, but struggling in the present? If so, it's best to be like Alice and have no desire for promises which will never be fulfilled anyway. Words are plentiful, but deeds are few. Thinking the past and the future are better than the present, being attracted by promises of good times and abundance that may never be kept, boasting of plenty but never enjoying it in the moment, manipulation and withholding. Demand results in the present and work towards satisfying your desires yourself. Don't buy what they are selling. So, Aunt Edna, Batmom, this was your card. You were the second person I read for. Yeah, and you're not easily manipulated, but there is someone that comes up often with you where it's like, just make sure you don't let them in. Just make sure you don't let them manipulate you. That's not really the same thing here. This is something completely new. This is someone, I feel like you're coming to a little bit of disappointment in the next week or two, okay? Maybe even in the next month or two. For some reason, I'm getting a little bit more longer term readings than I normally do, as in a little bit longer ahead or further up ahead than a week or two. But where you're starting to understand someone like this in your life, someone who doesn't really have any real plan. Their plan is to tell everyone of their plan and convince everybody that the plan is achievable for them, when in reality, they're lost and they have no idea how to follow through. They don't know how to keep these promises, but they know that they need to keep making them in order to keep the status quo how it is, or to keep something on on their side, or maybe to keep you on their side. The fact of the matter is, I think you've either come to the realization long ago, but have never said anything, or got the inkling of it long ago, but never said anything. You are finally starting to understand that this person has no idea. They're a liar. They're either a liar, manipulator, future faker, narcissistic, toxic, or they're completely clueless. And I don't feel like they're completely clueless. I feel like this person knows exactly what they're doing. I do feel, however, like this is going to catch you a little bit off guard. You may have heard this about this person. This doesn't have to be someone you've known for a long time. This could be a new person coming in that the universe wants to warn you of, because you could end up at a point where you're being sucked into believing them. I see a very charming energy, whether that be male or female, of somebody just being like, kind of a snake oil salesman, right? I can heal you of your physical sicknesses if you give me X amount of money in 6 months. And then they're selling you, flavored water. And then the 6 months comes and they're like, oh, well, you were a special case, you've got bigger energy, so I'm going to need another 6 months. This is somebody putting you off and putting you off and putting you off. I feel like you want an explanation. Before you get sucked into this, if you haven't already, pay attention to what's being put on offer. Make sure you get references from anyone you may be hiring. Make sure that you don't allow anyone new into your inner circle, especially in the next week or two. Don't jump on any offers that seem too good to be true. Now, if this is someone you already know, now is the time to start demanding return on investment. Now is the time to call them out. I think everyone knows this about this person, that they are unreliable. They're never going to follow through. Gem is never for today, but nobody wants to say anything just in case they're wrong. It's up to you. Not so much to even lead the way for others, because if other people aren't going to want to believe you, or if other people are like, but yeah, Edna, what if? You already know the answer to that. Do it for your own peace of mind, so this person leaves you alone. They are toxic. They are feeding off your energy. They're trying to feed off of your kindness and your good-heartedness. You just don't have time or space in your life for that. So never jam today. Be the person who doesn't want jam anyway. I never forget manipulative. Who's next?
Cindy Lee.
Mama Cindy, let's use Divine Circus. I guess she does know. That is so crazy. You guys saw me shuffle. It's the card that was stuck in the Alice deck. And it's the card of Alice. So Mama Cindy, card number 12, Alice. When your world becomes too small for your spirit, it can feel painful, like trying to walk around in shoes you've outgrown. If you do this for too long, you can feel crippled with pain and be unable to walk at all. You have a spirit that's outgrowing the worlds you've known and is yearning to experience new ones. The universe is responding to your spiritual need to broaden your horizons with new friends, opportunities, and communities that are, or soon will, become available to you. You may welcome the unfamiliar, or you may find it intimidating. You may wonder if you belong in those possibly strange new worlds, or you may feel like you've come right home. No matter whether it's just another world you are meant to pass through on your life adventure, or a return to a true soul family you never knew you had, there is value in this next phase of your life path. It's essential to your overall life plan and divine destiny. When Alice appears, she brings a message that it's safe to enter into new worlds, whether those worlds are of ideas, lifestyles, social communities, or other like-minded groups, or even other places. Cindy, as strange or unsettling as it might seem at first, you'll soon learn the ways of those people. Of those other worlds, and flourish there. Alice also indicates a time when your perception is opening up, intuition, insight, visions, and creativity will increase in flow, and it's recommended that you value those things rather than dismiss them as imaginary or fantasy. You are encouraged to follow that which is novel or unusual, that which seems to take you into new worlds rather than making do with what already has been. Following those initial inspirations will open doors for you and gain you entry into entirely new and exciting worlds. You are ready for adventure, whether you know it or not. Yeah, Mama Cindy, I do feel like you are busting at the seams for something new. If not in life in general, in some area of your life. It's just like if you go on like this another day, you're just going to explode. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the next week or two, you will. I feel like there is something, this is a tiny bit like what I said to Smoochie, or a little aspect of it, a little part of it, actually, where it's like something you maybe never would have considered before, or that you never would have considered to be for you before. You're starting to come around to the idea that, maybe this is for me, or maybe this will be fun, or in the next week or two, if you get an opportunity where your first thought is to be like, oh no, that's not going to be fun for me, take that opportunity. Or if you feel like, oh, I would never get along with a person like that, go to that lunch. You know what I mean? Expand your horizons and open your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, even your psychic-ness, to new worlds, to people from different worlds. You are the type of person with the type of energy that can commingle with all different types of people because of who you are as a human being and what you came here to accomplish. I do feel like there's a part of you that may think you're too something for other people. Me, I always think I'm too much. I'm either trying to dumb myself down, or or I think I'm too XYZ to hang out with this group of people. I'm too that to hang out with that group of people. There is none of that for you, especially in the next week or two. Mandy Gomez, what is up, girl? Welcome. You're welcome, Aunt Edna. There is none of that for you in the next week or two. I want you to accept any and all invitations that you possibly can to your heart's content, even if it's something you think you're going to have a horrible time doing, because I feel like you're not only going to be pleasantly surprised at the activity about how much fun you have, you're going to meet either a group of people or a person there where your world's going to change so unexpectedly. And you're going to look back maybe years from now and be like, wow, if I didn't accept that invitation, XYZ never would have happened, or I never would have met so-and-so. Something like that. Someone in your soul family is coming in that you have not met yet through you accepting some invitation that you a week ago never would have accepted. You are bursting at the seams for something more, something new, something different. Stop worrying about how other people are going to take to you, or about how you're going to take to someone or something else. Just go for it. Take a leap of faith. Be the fool at the beginning of the journey, because the universe does have your back. This is a contracted situation. The spark needed to change your life, or some aspect or area of it. Who's next?
Okay, I believe that is my niece, Mandy.
Oh, duh, you did say her name is Mandy.
I think that's her. Is that you, Mandy? If it is, we'll do Blue Crossroads, then we'll do her.
Okay, great. So we think that Mandy may be our beloved Ghost Dragon's niece. Let's do Blue Crossroads. Let's let her get settled in. Everyone, she is family. Let's make her feel at home. Blue Crossroads, let's go with Vampire.
Oh, that's okay. You're not late. Nobody's ever late here unless they're after 10 o'clock.
Nobody's late for this stream. Yeah, and if you're family, you can't be late.
Yes.
Everyone here is family anyway, so.
Thank you for joining us, hon. It'll do you some good. You haven't seen my face in a while. It's pretty old.
He's our favorite old man. But look how handsome. He's very dapper. He wears suits for us every week. Yes, she is the beloved Bat Mom. Yes. You guys are so hilarious. I love
you guys. Oh, thanks.
Yes,
hi, Lou.
Lou Dog, what's up with you? I got your text last night, dear, but I was traveling. I was on the road. All right, Mr. Blue Crossroads. Supernatural. Inexplicable, miraculous, and otherworldly. Card number 39. There are many things in the world that most people cannot explain away conveniently. That includes vampires, like this beautiful silver-haired creature surrounded by flying fish as the sun breathes its last behind her. Before her is a surreal vision, and yet, there it is. Real yet unreal at the same time. And we are scientists and we are doctors and we teach and we walk amongst you. And we hear so many times of what is said to be impossible, the hearing of thoughts, the moving of objects through energy, the knowing of events before they occur, the receiving of messages from spirit realms, the ability to see colors around bodies, the ability to heal through touch. And I tell you all that these are not supernatural. They are natural. And when they are developed and worked upon and exercised and practiced with, they are considered super. You have these qualities, Blue. You have them in abundance, and we can see them about you. It's your task now to develop them, not to develop them without reason or intelligence, but to develop them and to celebrate your nature, your magnificent humanity, which has such potential and which is so vital to all of us. You are supernatural. You are as magnificent as those who are in spirit. You are a divine creation. And it is now time for you to celebrate this, to embrace this, and to become as strong in your extra senses as you are in others. Embrace yourself, human child, all of your magical, wondrous self. Blessing. There are aspects to you that are divine and utterly connected to all the cycles and aspects of nature. You now feel secure and safe in developing and expressing your intuitive gifts more than ever before. That's definitely true. Curse, feeling fearful and nervous about using your intuitive gifts, beliefs that such powers are dangerous or negative, feeling unworthy or unsafe. I'm listening to RJ. Working with this card, it is time now to begin to understand that these senses we all have are not special gifts given only to the chosen, which is what I tell you guys all the time. We all have them, right? You may have been despairing at your own lack of gifts and wondering what your own abilities may be. It is time to discover this by paying attention and through hard work. So I don't think you were despairing at your lack of gifts, but I do feel like you've come to a better understanding of what your stronger abilities may be, whether you've shared that with anyone or not, right? Blue Crossroads, now is a time of such great self-exploration for you in so many different areas of your life, and really has been for the last year or more, okay? But what this card is saying is, I do feel like you're about to have an experience that is going to, it's going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back for you, where you're really starting to understand that even as a police officer, being a lawman in whatever capacity your whole life, where you always thought maybe on a more analytical scale, that the whole time you were meant to be here for more of a spiritual mission. And I do feel like you've been learning more and more about that little by little, but it's culminating into something or to something in the next week or two. I don't know if it's going to come in the form of a dream, another dream, a visitation. I see like a spontaneous activation of senses. You are finally putting the pieces together of a puzzle of your own ability and realizing that it's been with you all along, and now learning how to use it to not only help others, but to bring yourself to a point of where you want to be in life faster than a natural way, using your ability for your own gain, but not in a selfish way. Kind of like I do. I use my ability here, not in a selfish way, but kind of in a selfish way, because I like the attention. I love being on YouTube. I'm trying to grow a channel, but in an unselfish way, because the point of it for me is to help you guys and to put myself out there for y'all and try to live by example to the best of my ability and follow your examples as well. And Blue Crossroads, I do feel like a big turning point coming in. Okay. Could have something to do with a Pisces, either sun, moon, or rising. I do see a lot of fish in this card. I was trying to get a little more about that, but they're like lips zipped, mouths sealed. This is for you to figure out what is your soul's purpose after being who you've been your whole life in your profession. Now, where do you go with your abilities? Which ones have activated? Which ones are strongest? How do you use them? And how do you use them for the greater good? This also may sound very strange to you, or it all may make perfect sense, because maybe you have been thinking about this. It's definitely, it's going to become abundantly clear in the next 2 weeks, whether, again, through visitation, astral travel, could be something negative that happens spiritually that opens up an ability where you're like, holy crap, I didn't know I could see auras. Did I just hear what that person was thinking? There's something big coming here for you. And then it's all going to make sense. Guys, these are very channeled, more so than usual, meaning a little harder for me to interpret because I'm simply pulling the message in without my own filter like I always do. So if something doesn't make sense, feel free to ask questions. Does RJ, does keep it down, bud? Does Mandy?
Yes, she does want to read.
He's in there. I hear him going, you're a Karen, a Karen, a Karen to me. All right. Okay. Let's Miss Mandy.
You are still here, hon, all right? Let us know that you're here and that you definitely want one. We would appreciate that.
I know the readings have been fairly long tonight, but usually they'll come through my filter, and they're not. Yeah, normally, Mandy, I'm at my house in my own office, and we do this on like a Friday night, but I came to visit my mom. I'm helping her move. So since I don't have my own bedroom here anymore because she's moving, I'm only 2 rooms away from my 5-year-old. So it gets interesting, for sure. Especially when he's in there teasing my mom.
And yes,
we will always have this space for you in here, honey. So I am using the Della Nawait Oracle. Helped him fulfill his purpose in helping others. Now he's on to a new journey. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And yes, definitely continuing to help others. But I feel like there's something coming in where it's like you're also going to be forced, Blue Crossroads, to to use a little bit more of it on yourself as well. Mandy, that's what it is. Every time I turn on, the computer or the camera to film a short or to film a video, here he comes right up in the corner.
But he's a ham like mom. He's a ham like mom.
I go to talk on the phone, there he is. Who are you talking to?
But he is a ham like mom too.
He is a ham like me. He's like, let's do selfies. I pick up my phone and find like 10 selfies of him through Snapchat filters that he just decided to do by himself. But you gotta love that age, though. All of my other kids are grown up, so. Oh, okay. All right, so you got Dorothy Gale, card number 28. Here we go. It was boring in gray Kansas with my little dog Toto. A twister dropped my house into the magical land of Oz. The good witch Glinda told me to follow the yellow brick road to get to the Emerald City where the wizard lived. I met incredible people along the way. At the end of my adventures, I found out that I had the power to go back home just by clicking the heels of my magical ruby slippers, and also that home was, after all, the best place to be in. Sometimes you think you have to search far away for what is just in your own backyard. Sometimes you have to be far away from home and far away from the ones you love to realize how much you love them all. Discover new lands, follow colored brick roads, meet interesting people, but keep in mind that your true home is always where your heart is. Home is your only real quest. Yeah, Mandy, I know you're going through a tough and emotional and probably a confusing time right now. What this card is saying is, all roads lead to home. And home is where you find your comfort at the end of the day, regardless of who's there. There's not going to be anyone in your home or in your heart, really. Maybe in your heart, but not in your home, that you're going to look forward to being around because they make you more uncomfortable, right? And I've been talking about this for the last few weeks, where it's like, okay, we have to become comfortable in our discomfort. And I do feel like that's a big part of what you're going through right now, whether you're literally traveling back home to see family members or people you haven't seen in a long time, and that's making you nervous, or whether you're just kind of reaching inward to find out what's really in your heart. What is your heart desire? What do you most want? Because you're probably thinking things right now. And if you're not right now, you will be in the next week or two, of like, where do I really want my life to go? At the end of the day, you know, what do I want to be remembered for? Or there may be some regrets, but please remember that guilt, shame, fear, and regrets, they come from lower vibration. They come from darkness. And as light workers, we don't have time for any of that. We have to just keep moving on, keep moving forward, and shining the light in the darkness for others when they need it. And learning how to use our own light to brighten ourselves up as well. Even when we're going through hard times or going through unimaginable tragedies, when nothing really makes sense, being able to, being able to go on a journey, whether it be a literal one or a spiritual one. And I do believe you're walking in now to a very major spiritual journey that's going to lead through this dark night of the soul and into spiritual awakening. And a lot of light workers are going through that right now. So whether it's one or the other or both, as far as traveling, are you traveling, you know, spiritually and finding out more about your spiritual journey? Are you actually literally traveling? Is it both? Is it more than that? Either way, it's going to be a long and arduous journey. But I do think you've already done a lot of the hard work. You've already put in a lot of the long hours, so to speak. You're at the precipice of something great. But with recent tragedies, not just huge ones, but even mini personal tragedies that we all have on a daily basis, or personal sadnesses or small triumphs or losses, how do we get through those and not recede back into this lower vibrational area of ourselves where we're just like, well, you know what? Now I give up. That's a question that each of us individually need to answer for ourselves. This is a major spiritual awakening for you. This whole situation is going to be opening your eyes, and it could be more than one situation right now, to asking more questions about what's really out there. What's really your life purpose? What's your soul's journey? Which path are you supposed to take, you know, at the fork in the road? Here's the thing. Your team is here and they're like, you need to ask them for help. You need to call them in. Where unlike these lower vibrational entities, no matter what they are, whether it be something demonic or just something lower vibrational, they don't need your permission to enter. They need a kind of invitation that you can inadvertently give without even realizing it. And there they are. With your higher vibrational team, with your ancestors, your deceased loved ones, your angels, your spirit guides, the rest of your team, you have to physically, like literally ask them in for guidance and for help. And what I would like to see you do in the next week or two is when you wake up in the morning, just give your day to them. Just say, okay, guide, you know, for my guides, my angels, my spirit team, I give this day to you. Just make my decisions. I don't feel like doing it. And they will. Because if you go to make a decision that's quote unquote wrong, that is not going to push you forward on your path or push you ahead in life, that's going to, if you're going to make a decision that's going to make you take 10 steps backwards instead of one step forward, you're going to be kind of convicted about it. You're going to hear that nagging in your head, like, why did I do that? Why did I, until you go back and fix it. You cannot get through any of what you're going through right now on your own. Now is not the time to decide that you're strong enough to do this by yourself. It's the time now to be very choosy as to who you let in to help you, because this is a moment for you where you might be more easily manipulated than normally. This might be a time for you where people are looking to take advantage of your vulnerability. Make sure in the next week or two, specifically, start small by surrounding yourselves with people you only people you trust 1,000,000%. And if you don't have anyone like that in your, like, physically in your life, then that's the start of your journey right there. Why is that? Why are you even associating with people that you can't trust 1,000,000, 100,000, bajillion, I make up words %? This is a hard time for you, but you're not alone. Even if you're physically alone and feel like you have no one, you have your entire team. Reach out to them, invite them in, call them in. Start small. Don't push yourself too hard because you do have a lot going on, but start enforcing those boundaries. Start saying no more often. Start putting yourself first more often. One thing we talk about on this channel a lot is that self-care isn't selfish. And we're taught from a very young age that putting yourself first is very, you've got to give everyone your last, even if it's the death of you, because otherwise it'd be selfish. No, we don't believe that here on this channel. Okay. Thank you. I'm good. I'm glad to hear it. We don't believe that. We believe that self-care is the best thing we can do for ourselves and for those around us. Even if you take 10 minutes a day to take a walk around the block and get some fresh air and commune with nature, or 10 minutes to pray if that's what you do, or speak to your guides, or go outside and do naked backflips across your backyard. Like, whatever invigorates you and makes you feel closer to your higher self, to your spirit self, you should be doing that all the time on as regular a basis as you possibly can. And anyone that's trying to make you feel bad about that, or who doesn't like it or agree with it, too bad for them. Too bad. They don't need to be in your life. They don't need to be sucking up your energy. They don't need to be in your space. And if they don't like the way you're living your life, then maybe they shouldn't be a part of it. Nobody's forcing them to be around watching. You have to be there for yourself enough to be able to push people out who are not going to be there for you. Oh, I just pulled my hair with my ring.
Ouch.
Good thing it's not real hair. All right, who's next?
Darling Deb.
Okay. All right, Miss Deb. I'm going to use the myths and mermaids. You're very, very, very welcome. Remember, it's your team, and they'll gladly and willingly give you this advice, this same advice every day, anytime you need to hear it, if you ask them to, and if you close your eyes and listen. They're always there rooting for you on the sidelines, probably cussing you on the sidelines too when you make, like, oh, why didn't you call us in for that? But the more, Smoochie, the more you get used to calling them in and asking for their advice, the more used to it you'll become, and the more second nature it'll be. And that's how you make decisions easier, the right decisions, without having to second guess yourself all the time. Because if it's not coming from your humanness, which has a huge margin of error, and only coming from your spirit team, the spirit that know and love you best, there is no margin of error. There is no error. No, Mio, Dandy Andy. Well, Mandy, you know what? You can change that at any moment. And again, it's like, don't even feel bad for that. They're probably used to it. I think everybody goes through that. I didn't even, I've had my gifts and abilities since I was born, and I didn't start paying attention to any of it until 5 years ago. So, I mean, it's definitely not just you. All right, Miss Deb. My tentacled friend. Card number 34. An exhausted sea maiden holds on limply to her octopus companion. She is overextended, tired, and in need of rest, revitalization, or rebirth. Her pallor suggests depleted energy and waning vigor. Divination message: reclaim your overextended self. You have become overextended like an octopus who has stretched each arm in a different direction. This overextension has you left weak, vulnerable, and haggard. It is time to reduce your obligations and draw inwards for a time. Decide upon your highest priorities, Deb, and release those duties that no longer aid you or is not as important as they once were. Reclaim the parts of yourself, both mentally and physically, that are being improperly used and let them rest for a time. Mandy, also something you should know is that if you hang around and you hear someone else's reading and it sounds like it makes sense to you, that will also be a message for you because there's a reason that you're hearing it. So take anything that resonates from these readings. Reclaim the parts of yourself, both mentally and physically, that are being improperly used and let them rest for a time. When you are feeling stronger, put them back to use constructively if you see the need to, but don't let yourself get so overburdened ever again. Always keep an arm in reserve for a surprise task that is near and dear to your heart or fuels your personal ambitions. Deb, making time for yourself much lately? Because I'm going to say no. And I know in the past week, you've been dealing with your own personal tragedy with the passing of a family member that was near and dear to your heart. So I understand that you're not thinking of putting yourself first. But remember, even in tragedy, we need to be there for ourselves. Even if we have other people that are there, they're never going to be there for us like we are going to be there for us because we are sentenced to a lifetime of solitary confinement in our own skin. And no matter how well someone knows us, they don't know every single part of us. It's impossible for someone to know every single part of you, even if you think that you've let them. So who else is going to do it? Also, in being all things to all others, especially in your family who are also suffering, how do you think that's affecting you energetically, spiritually, emotionally? It's definitely okay to be there for other people. Don't get me wrong, to comfort them and to grieve with them. But to the point where you're so tired and overextended and overwhelmed and perhaps even overworked, that doesn't sound like a spiritually sound decision, right? And I'm not judging or indicting you. I'm a medium. I should know this, and I do know this, upside down, inside out, but I still do it too. So I'm not judging, but I do want you, your team wants you, to take a step back and don't give any energy, especially when you're emotionally this vulnerable, to anyone that doesn't deserve it. Not an ounce of it. Don't lift a finger. Don't whisper a vowel towards or in the name of or for someone that at any given time wouldn't be there for you, even if they are grieving. And as light workers, we always want to run to people and be the first ones there to comfort them. But are they doing that for you? You may feel like you've been doing nothing, but you haven't. Maybe you haven't been doing anything for anyone else, but you're grieving. And I think that is the most energetically draining thing any of us can do. Please make sure you keep yourself protected spiritually so that the toxicity, the people who carry the toxicity, toxic people, personalities, narcissists, people with narcissistic traits, ex-friends, family members you haven't spoken to who are toxic and dramatic, make sure you protect yourself from them because they're going to see this as an opportunity and they're going to be like vultures swooping down on your energy and trying to suck you dry when you barely have anything left to give right now. Grieve as you must and as you will, but don't do anything extra for anyone ever, regardless of if you're grieving or not. If they won't even do anything regular for you, forget extra, right? Now it's your time to focus on you. Selflessly, unselfishly, and for your own good and prosperity, for your own sanity, for your own physical, emotional, mental, and psychic healing. Nobody else is going to prioritize that except for you and your team. And it's imperative, because I do see, Deb, down the line, this becoming like progressively worse and possibly coming into something very detrimental to your mental or emotional health or state of well-being if you don't deal with this properly to the best of your ability now. Reach out if you need to, but make sure you're reaching out to the right people, not someone who's going to be like, ooh, she's feeling vulnerable. Let me ask her to borrow a couple hundred. I'll never have to pay it back. You know what I'm saying? Or someone who's going to be like, yes, absolutely. You know, come over and have tea and I'll give you a shoulder to cry on. And then they're going to use it a year from now when they need to borrow money. And they're going to be like, well, do you remember that time I was there for you? I took off work. We don't want those people in our lives. Boy, bye, girl, bye, bye, bye. No more. Yes. And Deb, if you know, I'm always here. Even if it takes me a little time to get back to you, I am always here. And I do pay very close attention to what you text me. And I try to get back to you as quickly as I can, especially with everything you're going through now.
Hey, you okay? You want to break?
Let me break quick. There's just a lot of darkness here right now.
Yeah.
And
you're fine.
All right. I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes, guys. I'm going to pull myself.
Give her a minute, folks. Hello, everybody. Steve time, I guess. Dragon time. Hey, Eris. Let me get you on the list there, Sneaky. How you doing, sir? And Mandy, it was good to see you. I'm glad you came in. And yes, you're welcome here anytime. Now we do. Gemma has a premiere on at 11 on Monday where she does a video. And it's just a video, but we have open chat. And you can come in and chat while the video is playing with us. I'm usually there too. And then she does a members only. But it's open to everybody. I think at noon if she does it this time. I'm not sure. Ask her when she gets back. Hello, Divine. And then Tuesday, we do a Tuesday talk. And that's at 1. Sorry, I drew a blank. Then I'm on by myself at 10 to midnight on Wednesday night. Then I believe this week, Pixie is streaming Thursday night at 8. And then I believe she'll be doing Oracle's Friday this week at 7:15. So we would love to have you pop in anytime. Hello, Divine, again. I'm glad everybody's coming in. Oh, excuse me. We had Japanese for dinner tonight. I'm still digesting. And then I had a bowl of Lucky Charms for dessert. What a combination. It's good to see everybody. Let me get Divine on here before I forget, because I don't want to forget the poor lady. Sometimes I get to rapid. Okay. It's good. It's good. Good. Yeah, let her check on everybody, make sure everybody's comfortable, and give her a chance to kind of clear the air. Anybody have anything special going on this weekend or tomorrow? But yes, Mandy, it was so good to see you. And yes, please come in anytime. As you can see, these people are a bunch of loving fools. So all good people here. Sleep? What's sleep? I don't sleep. Sleep is a word that I do not know. I'm sure you're right there with me, hon. And we'll be right back at it here in a second. Yeah, we're just hanging. I mostly have seen animal guys. You still... And about this dragon that has my back. There you go. Leave it to us dragons to have your back, Vixen. That's what we do. We watch people's back. Or we make them crispy and have them with ketchup. So it runs in the family. What, our goofiness? Oh, no, I'm small now. Okay. Just so you know, Mark is next, okay?
I've got a couple crackers, so bear with me. All right. Mark, I'm going to use the Oracle of the Universe. Ooh. Yeah, girl, I am so proud of you because I kept seeing him lurking in your readings, and I'm like, all right. You know, she reads tarot. She gets it. She's not going to do it. Good. When is this date? Mandy, reach out anytime, honey. My email or your uncle can even give you my phone number if you want to text me. Anytime. Don't be a stranger. And don't worry about bugging me. You couldn't. I'm in New Jersey, so I'm on Eastern time.
She lives in Florida.
Oh, okay. So we're in the same time zone.
Mm-hmm.
Vixen dough, I like it. One of my favorite sayings, meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for thou art crunchy and go well with ketchup. Ooh, okay.
And those who do not believe in dragons often get eaten by them.
Divine Empathic, let me know how it goes. Text me. Mandy, I'm sure. Anytime, sweetheart. That is true. You guys do keep each other company when y'all can't sleep. I'm in bed at like 7 p.m. You guys are streaming until like 3 in the morning. I'm like, well, 6:30, time to get ready for bed.
I think the longest we went was 4.5 hours. It was almost 5 o'clock when we went off.
I remember that one time. Yep. Uh-oh. My vape, guys. Hold on. Sorry.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Walk.
Okay, I got it. All right, Mark. You got the constellation Orion. It is the card of the hunt. Oh my gosh. That's so sweet, though. Sometimes it takes some devastation to reunite. But if you're soul family, which I believe you guys are, it always would have happened eventually. And I think if you speak to your uncle a little more, you'll find that you and I have a lot in common. As far as our dads. A lot in common. Okay. Mark, card number 17, Orion, the hunt. Carl. Okay. You must be careful who you hunt with. In other words, be very mindful who influences you, Mark. It is positive to sustain focus on what you may wish to experience or obtain, but not at the cost of your virtue or the safety of others. You must use your strength for good. Orion was a handsome son of Poseidon. Some say a mighty giant as well, an expert hunter armed with a magical and unbreakable club. He was often accompanied by hunting dogs. There are many stories of Orion, some conflicting in that he was painted as either a positive figure or an evil protagonist. The latter often involving Orion chasing and even R-wording women and other deities. In one mythos, Artemis, who sometimes hunted with Orion, killed him after he R-worded one of her handmaidens. In another mythos, the seven sisters of the Pleiades were his target until Zeus saved them by placing them in the sky. The Pleiades can be seen still outrunning his attentions in space. The story we will focus on here, though, is that of Gaia, the great primordial goddess of Earth, who learned Orion had boasted that he could hunt and kill every animal on Earth. This, of course, could not be tolerated by Gaia, and she sent the fearsome Scorpius to kill Orion. Both Orion and Scorpius were raised to the sky in opposing positions, so only one is visible at a time, and one is always chasing the other. The Orion constellation is one of the brightest and best known constellations in the night sky. It lies on the celestial equator and contains 2 of the 10 brightest stars, Rigel and Betelgeuse. Yes, Betelgeuse. Words of power. I choose my companions wisely. Mark, I feel like you are starting to get into this habit, which is a good habit to get into, and so many of us are learning. What's up, Miss Pixie? To do this and be more, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I'd just say to be more choosy about who we spend our time with, but who you allow to influence you. I've been enforcing boundaries a lot lately and feeling guilty about it, feeling as though I'm coming off as rude or B-wordy or diva-ish. And then I think about it and I'm like, no, you know what? Even if I wasn't on YouTube, I still would have wanted to enforce this boundary in my life. And overthinking a little bit, but understanding at the end of the day, I'm doing what's right for me and protecting me. I feel like you're finally moving out of these influences that you just want to be kind to everyone and you want everyone to like you. And this is not a you thing, Mark. This is an us thing, because I think all of us at one point or another, for the most part, have gone through this where we just want to be seen by others as kind or as, giving or as, some type of higher vibrational way, when nobody can be higher vibrational anything all of the time because we're human. Our spirits can, but as human beings, we just can't do it. And I feel like you're coming to this acceptance of it, of like, okay, well, I no longer need this arrogant, rude, obnoxious person to like me. If this person only wants to be my friend when, I'm willing to pay for lunch. I'm just using that as an example. Or when this person only wants to be my friend when they're mocking me in front of our other friends to make themselves feel better or make me look bad. Whatever it is. I think you're just saying no to bullies. And you're finally feeling confident or coming into this confident feeling of, you are enough. You will be enough for the people you are meant to be around. You are enough for the people who are meant to be in your life. And I'm so happy to see this, especially for someone like you, because you do have such sweet and earnest, kind energy. But everybody is the a-hole in someone's story. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are. And I think you're finally coming to understand that you don't have to be the nice guy in everyone's story. This took me a really long time to learn, that if standing up for myself was going to make someone not like me, they didn't need to be around me. That's the energy I see you coming into in the next 2 weeks. Not cocky or not coming from a place of ego, but finally coming to a place of being comfortable enough with who you are, how far you've come, and where you're going, that you're like, okay, if you don't like me, you don't want to hang out with me, you don't want to talk to me anymore, that's cool. I'll miss you, maybe, but bye. Plenty of fish in the sea. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of you for that. And I was proud of you for a few things in the past week or so that you and I have been discussing. And I really am just proud of seeing you grow as a person, grow in your spirituality, and grow in your ability. So understand that as you grow in your ability, specifically, you are going to lose people that you thought were always going to be there, that you thought you couldn't live without. But the more you think about it, Mark, the more you're going to understand, I wasn't wrong about that one time I thought of what a jerk they were, or that one time I wanted to stand up to them and tell them what a loser they were acting like. I wasn't wrong. You're going to realize you were right about them all along. Not because, maybe not because they're such a horrible person, but because they just weren't meant to be in your life anymore. You guys have learned your lessons and moved on. And I feel like you're coming into a time of really picking and choosing who you allow into your life, into your energy, and who you kick out of it. It's already happened. That's great. Eris, Keely. The Facebook Messenger ding keeps me checking my phone. That's why I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb at all times. And only a few people get through, maybe 6 or 7 people. And the rest of the time, I just look at my phone like every half hour to an hour, depending on what I'm doing. And I'll see who's messaging or texting me or calling. Otherwise, you ain't getting through. That's why I tell you guys, though, it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. in New Jersey. Text me. You're not going to wake me up. You couldn't possibly disturb me or my family. I'll get it in the morning and I'll get back to you when I can. That's one of the reasons I tell you guys that. You couldn't bother me if you tried, because you literally couldn't, because my phone will not make noise when you text me or email me or call me. Okay, who's next?
Vixen.
I only have 15 decks with me, but I think that'll be okay. Vixen Doe, I'm going to use Magic of You. Keely, so good to see you again. Very good, Mark. Keep following that path. It's the right one for you, and I'm sure it makes you feel good. And the more we come into our ability, the more whole we feel too. The more we start to understand the challenges and the struggles and the traumas we've been through. Because we're like, oh, this is why I had to go through all that. I never would have ended up here because I never would have met so-and-so, or I never would have went into that stream, or I never would have, been desperate enough to do this, or, we find that the pain and especially trauma that we've been through actually did mean something. It wasn't unnecessary. And I think that really helps us spiritually, no matter who you are. Yes, I am traveling light, only 15 decks. Usually I bring at least 30, pick out like 25, then get mad I didn't use the other 5. So this week, because I'm trying to move stuff out of mom's house. So when I bring stuff, like I have to also bring stuff back with me. So I don't want to have like all of these decks, God forbid they get ruined or accidentally put in storage. Mine. All right. Vixen Doe, card number 35, Vertigo. And if my voice lowers a little bit, it's just because I know RJ is going to sleep in the next room. Vixen Doe, whatever you choose will be correct. Ooh, I love Stouffer's macaroni and cheese. So luxurious is the problem of choice. And yet, as you consider all the dizzying array of possibilities, a sensation of tilting, of things being off kilter, paralyses, paralyzes you into action. What can you do? What should you do? Notice the keys stand straight and true. Each one opens door leading to opportunities and lessons. Whatever you do now will be correct, but what? But some lessons may be more enjoyable than others. Yes, Mark, I did go in a little while ago to check on him. I went a little early. In Vertigo, there is pictured one key that is very ornate and decorative. You may feel compelled to grasp it and open its door. Surely the prettiest key would open the most auspicious door. Be aware, all is not what it seems. And while you cannot make a wrong decision, Vixen, do not rush to make the quote-unquote obvious choice. The unexpected door will yield the most gratifying rewards and valuable lessons. Be brave and walk through the door left open. So the road less traveled. I do feel like you're dealing with a situation, but thank you for reminding me, Mark. I do appreciate it because I have forgotten before. I feel like you are coming into a situation where it's like something is a no-brainer or seemingly so, right? This is the universe telling you, hold up a minute, make sure you really give this some thought. This isn't a, if something seems to be too good to be true, it is type situation. This is yeah, that way will work. It may be the easiest, but are you going to learn anything from it? So you're faced with several choices here in some situation that needs a decision. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will in the next week or two. The universe is saying, don't rush to make the easiest decision that'll get things done and over with the quickest. Even though I'm sure whatever the situation is, you want to move on from it. You want to get it over and done with, of course. But there, depending which choice you make, there are more and more lessons to be learned. If you take the road less traveled and take the less obvious choice, yes, it might be harder. Yes, it might take longer, but you will learn so much more and be so much better off and further along in the process than if you just jump at the simplest choice. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, you know that it will. So just take your time and really think through a situation. Again, even if you're offered a very simple get out of jail free card, so to speak, or get out of this quickly card, don't rush to a decision. Really think it through, because I feel like you're going to come to a choice where it's like, all right, this is going to take a little longer, but it does seem like the smarter thing to do. And when you do that, you will be so far ahead once you come through it. You're not going to regret it. But if you take the simplest choice, you'll also be correct and you'll also get through this very fast, but you won't learn as much and you may have to repeat this lesson somewhere down the line. And I don't think that's something you want to do. Guys, let me eat this other cracker, please. Sorry, I'm hungry. Okay, who's next?
Forest friends.
Thank you, Blue. Forest friend, let's do human spirit. Oh my gosh, those are so good. Lance Captain's wafers, cream cheese, and chives. Okay. You guys are all so sweet. I just am so proud of you all. I'm so proud that this chat goes down in my stream every week. Really. It's just, I don't know. I tell you guys a lot. It means so much to me how welcoming we are. And nobody ever leaves here like, this chat stinks, or man, people are rude here. Like, never. It's never happened. Yeah, Miss Pixie, right? They're not something I normally would have chosen. Okay. Forest friend, you got card number 9. Baby, I'm a star, but you got it in the reverse. Oh, Keely, thank you. Keely feels very strongly about that too. I appreciate it. I really do. No, Mio. All right. Me. Is this what we have come to as a society now? Do you have enough followers, likes? Do you look flawless? Is your life huge enough to be a star on social media? Is this really what has become important to you? Just hold on, because things aren't always what they seem with the cards. We have become reduced to selfie filters, living above our means, and not showing our authentic self to the world. Are you stuck living in a virtual world, spending your entire existence on your phone, tablet, or laptop? Stop and realize this does not validate you, nor does it build character. It's okay to cruise, but don't make it a road trip and destination. All of these filters and airbrushes have made us as a human race become more dog-eat-dog and numb to what's really going on around us. Take a look around you today outside of social media and find out what is truly in your life that you can be thankful for and what honestly makes you a star. Forest friend, I don't feel like you're that you have main character syndrome, where everything's about you. But I do feel like you could be maybe getting to a point where you're coming to reliant upon or dependent upon tech, right? So social media, your computer, YouTube, your phone, whatever. But the main message I'm getting here, okay? There is something coming in, if it hasn't already, in the next week or two, someone. So in the form of like an offer, a person asking you for a favor. There's just something no good here coming in through an email, through some form of social media. I don't know if this person is trying to get money from you. I don't know. There's a bad news person, a lower vibrational person who is very self-centered, who is very narcissistic, who is very manipulative coming in for you. I'm trying to see exactly what is being said here. Forest friend, just be careful who you open up to in the next week or two over social media. Like as far as people you don't know too well, don't be, and as light workers, this is hard because I find that most of us are natural open books. And it's something I've had to learn the hard way too. It's just like, don't tell all of my business all at once, all of the time. Make sure that people are earning your trust, right? People say, well, trust is something I'll give you trust until you prove to me you don't deserve it. I can't afford to think that way anymore. With me, trust is something you have to earn and then I'll give it to you. For the most part, I'll trust most people with some stuff. Forest friend, just be careful about the people that you're opening up to on social media, okay? Especially in the next week or two, because I do see a dangerous situation of you either being taken advantage of, stolen from, manipulated into doing something bad. It's very lower vibrational. Try to unplug if you can in the next week or two for as long as you can. So if you don't need technology like your phone, your computer, social media for like your job, maybe go a full day without it, or maybe 3 days a week for the next 2 weeks, just for the next 2 weeks until circumstances change and whoever or whatever this is moves on to the next person. This is forewarning. Make sure you don't give any money out to anyone you meet over social media. Make sure you don't meet anyone in person that you're meeting. I just see danger, danger, danger. And I don't normally give messages like that. So it is kind of making me a little nervous and uncomfortable for you. So forest friend, just if you already know someone that you maybe have an inkling that maybe they might not be who they say they are, just take it slow with them. This doesn't necessarily mean it is that person. But just in case, pull your energy back a little bit, go for a walk in the woods or something. You are a friend to the forest after all. And just protect yourself energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychically. Protect your heart, protect your wallet, and protect those you love. Okay. Y'all nasty. I'm saying when I did Alien Probe podcast today, I kept thinking of blank probe, that another different kind of probe that begins with an A, and I couldn't help it. It just kept running through my head.
They were area 51 and Roger's not answering. So go ahead and do Jules.
Okay. Area 51 and Roger, if you guys are still here, please let us know. Yes, Mandy. And for Christmas, darling Deb sent me a grounding mat because I work at my computer all day. My day job is I'm a writer. I write, I'm a best-selling author, but I also ghostwrite and I write scripts for other YouTube channels. I write for my own channel. So I'm always at a desk at my computer, but in my own house, in my own office space. So she got me this grounding mat and my bare feet are always on that mat. Like if I'm live streaming or filming something, my feet are on that mat. And it's just, it's really helpful for someone who is stuck in like an office situation for most of their daytime hours. You're welcome, Forest Friend. Blue Crossroads for sure. Oh my gosh, can you stop? All right, so this is Miss Jules.
Did I hit that by accident?
No, I did. I was talking to the cards. They kept jumping out of my hand. Oh, Mandy. All right. New moon in Leo. Shine. All right. Come on, new moon. Okay, Miss Jules, a new day is dawning. You're moving from darker times to light and are well on your way to your desired outcome. Be proud of who you are. Your self-confidence has got you this far, so keep on believing in yourself. Sometimes we have to fake it until we make it, and that's okay too. You're on the right track and the future is bright. In relationships, carry yourself with respect and others will respect you. Whatever challenges you're facing, consider taking a more creative approach. This card is especially good sign for matters related to romance, creativity, children, your own or someone else's, or a situation requiring confidence. Love yourself and step into center stage. Be generous with others, but also be a little bit selfish if you need to be. We talk about that all the time, you know? Your manifestation affirmation. I am magnificent. I love me. Yes. And Jules, you're so loved by so many others as well. I feel like in the next week or two, Jules, this is just telling you don't let anyone take your groove. If you haven't found your groove or you feel like you haven't in the next week or two, you certainly will. I do feel like things are coming up a little more rosy than they've been for a long time with you. You're finally starting to sort things out, to understand things. Does this mean everything's perfect? No. Does this mean you have no problems? No. Does this mean you'll figure everything out that's been, bugging and grinding on you? No. But things are becoming easier, at least in some area of your life. And the universe is like, don't let anyone take this away from you. So be selfish with your energy. Be a little selfish with your time as well. If it's not absolutely necessary for your soul's growth, don't do it in the next week or two. That's not to say always put yourself first and don't ever help anyone. But in the next week or two, it is your time to shine. It is your time to do what's right and best for you before doing for anyone else. Again, not in a selfish way. Obviously, if you can, you still help people. But this is about not giving all your energy away when you're so close to achieving a goal or coming to a realization, but you've given all your good advice away. Keep some to yourself and for yourself energetically. Yeah, I feel like a much easier time coming in, at least in dealing with one particular situation that's really kind of had you stymied and maybe pessimistic for a long time. Jules, make sure you're putting yourself front and center. You're taking chances, obviously not dangerous risks, but maybe some unnecessary risks that the old you wouldn't have necessarily taken. But now you're ready to shine. You're ready to show people what you can do and what you're about. Don't let anyone take this from you. Don't be talked out of caring enough for yourself to be a little bit selfish.
Ready? Next is Melissa Nicole.
Is she still here?
Her name popped up. Melissa, are you still here?
Hey, Heather.
Melissa, I'm calling you, and after Melissa is Mike Roberts. And are you still here, Mike?
Roger Blair, Melissa Nicole, Area 51.
Area 51. Yeah.
Mike Roberts. Please let us know if you're here, because I don't want to have too many timestamps tonight. And plus, if you didn't ask for one, I'm not doing them. I'm being a little selfish tonight. I want to take a shower and go to bed.
And
Blue Dog, also let us know if you're still here.
And then Andrew. So if you
Okay,
want to do
no
Andrew
meals
until
here.
one of them answers, that's fine.
All right, Sir Nomeo. No, Keely, you just come in, and it's like the order that you come in is when you'll be on the list. Unless it's your first ever time in, then we kind of put you in the first chance we get. Otherwise, it's just whatever order you come in. And a lot of people will fall asleep, or they leave, or, I got you, girl. As long as you're in by 10 p.m. Eastern, you'll get a card. All right, Nomeo. I'm using the Shaman's Dream Oracle. My mom's buying me 2 new decks for my birthday, which is good because I haven't had the money to buy any since Christmas when she got me the last 2. So I'm excited. I get to pick them out tomorrow. Nomeo, you got card number 64, Woodwives, Adaptability. Mairead, hi. Aw, so nice to see you. I don't know how you guys do it. It's so late where you are. Like, I go to bed so early. I feel so old. Nomeo, adaptability, strong roots, growth. The Woodwives dance into your dreams as a reminder to be grounded no matter what life offers you. You need to know who you are, what you'll tolerate, what you've learned to date, and what boundaries to set so you feel good about yourself. Life is going to offer you something extraordinary now, and in order to learn and receive its blessings, you must remember that being grounded gives you more freedom, not less. You have everything you need. You have all it takes to do this right now. If you also keep reminding yourself to be flexible, you will be amazed by how well things play out for you. The Woodwives are both wisdom keepers and students of the new world, as these forest spirits have an uncanny ability to adapt to changing circumstances and always find the perfect way to grow and expand. They represent what you already know how to do. Learn, be in a beginner's mind. Let go of your rigid notions of how things quote unquote should be and present to what is right now. And be present, to what is right now. Unencumbered by your projections. Is there a storm brewing because things need to change? No worries. Nothing can uproot you now, and it will pass. You will dance with nature and move with it all. Nomeo, perhaps you've been given an opportunity to take a chance on something new, and you're not sure how far you can go without losing your footing. Have no fear, for when you remember your roots, your integrity, your authentic self, you can stretch yourself beyond the invisible line you drew. Go for it. You'll be so glad you did. So again, good night, forest friend. Taking chances, right? Andrew, not limiting yourself. Not limiting yourself to what you've always thought you would do at this point, or, maybe getting an opportunity and you always wondered what you would do if given that opportunity. You're not limited by anything right now. You are perfectly capable of making the right decision for you right now. Please don't let anything from your past dictate how you're making your decisions today. Just because something worked out a certain way, 10 years ago doesn't mean that same exact situation won't work out a completely different way this time around, for better or for worse. Yes, you should put thought into whatever decisions you make, but don't tie yourself down. Don't, what is it called? I'm having a hard time with words tonight. Don't limit yourself. Think big, go big, take big chances, take big risks, accept big responsibility. Okay? Your life is changing right now so big and so much for the better, but you don't see it because it's all of these little things that are happening. that you're not going to realize until one day you wake up and you're living a completely different life and you're like, poop, how did that happen? You know, how did that happen? And then you're like, oh yeah, it started with me taking that risk that one time and then meeting that person. It's like this domino effect of greatness for you. But it starts with stepping outside of your comfort zone and accepting opportunities you wouldn't normally accept mainly out of either fear or feeling like something isn't really worth your time right now. Now, this isn't to say give all of your time to something you don't feel is worthwhile, but definitely in the next week or two specifically, be willing to try new things. Okay. Don't judge any books by their cover. Don't take something that's happened in the past and apply it to any present situation, or think that something's going to turn out in the future how something in the past turned out. You are living a completely different life. You are doing completely different things. You're in a completely different place, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically, etc. Now is the time for you to take big chances, take big risks, and trust in the universe that it has your back. Your life is changing very dramatically right now, but you're not going to see the results of it for like another year. However, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So if you keep doing the same thing every single day in the exact same way, you're still going to be doing that same thing the same way every single day a year from now, because you will have changed nothing. You'll introduce no change into your routine and into your life. Last cracker, guys. I'm hungry.
While you eat that, you want to, if Married would like a reading, we can fit her in if that's all right with Eris. If Married, you'd like a reading, hon, before you leave, we'll fit you in. Eris will, I'm sure, be a nice gentleman and let you go first. Eris says go for it.
Okay, I'm going to use Deep, Dark, and Dangerous for my wifey, for lifey. Sorry, take your sweet time, Gemma. All right, Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. Yeah, I know. That's why I said, wow. Okay.
Heck, Married, I'm just getting moving at that time. I'm still in high speed by that time.
Okay. Mairead, you got the card of Discipline, the Myrmidon, card number 30, and it is a dangerous card. Develop or engage your self-discipline. Use your will to get a difficult task completed. Work together as a team. There is a time to go solo and a time to work with others to achieve a goal. Developing self-discipline can also assist with learning and leadership. Embody the change that you wish to see. Among the most powerful fighting forces in the ancient world were the men that fought under the great demigod Achilles at Troy. The other Greeks were said to be amazed at the group of brave, identically dressed soldiers who fought without fear, had incredible discipline, and were as numerous as ants. These men were known as the Myrmidons, from the word ant. There are a number of myths concerning the origin of such men. The most well-known is that they were originally from an island called Aegina, which was named after a lover of Zeus, and so his wife Hera decided to wreak some revenge on the inhabitants. I think it meant wreak. After all, the king of the island was a son of Zeus. Hera sent a plague to kill all of the inhabitants, and she killed almost everyone except for the king and his sons, who had prayed for Zeus to help. Zeus agreed that the king needed people to rule and saw that the island's ants had not been affected by the sickness. Zeus transformed the ants into people, and they were referred to as the Myrmidons. Like ants, these transformed people were fierce, strong, and intensely loyal to each other and their leader. The king's sons, Peleus and Telamon, ended up being exiled from the island by their father, but each took a fighting force of brown-armored Myrmidons with them. The first son of Peleus was Achilles, who inherited a fighting force of Myrmidons that he led and fought beside. The combination of the outer worldly strength and speed of Achilles and the efficiency and obedience of his forces made Achilles unbeatable on the beaches of Troy. Sadly, they could not save their leader from being shot in his only vulnerable spot, his heel, and killed. While developing discipline seems as unfashionable process in today's world, there's no doubt that having self-discipline develops character and assists with time management and the achievement of goals. In some ways, paradoxically, developing schedules that guide us enables us to have more freedom in time, not less. Plant companion, peony. Crystal companion, bronzite. So, the story of Achilles, his mother dipped him in the sea of like eternal life, except she held him by his Achilles tendon, which is why that was the only impenetrable or the only non-impenetrable spot on his body. Mairead, what this is saying is you may want to, in the next couple of weeks, trim your schedule down. And if you don't keep like an actual schedule, and kind of just take things as they come and go, you may want to look into doing that at least for a little while. This is talking more about like becoming a little bit more organized, even if it's organized chaos. Like I always say that, like, if you looked at my office, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a mess. No, it's organized chaos because I know where everything is. It's something like that. You don't want to be so free-spirited that you end up becoming like forgetful and accidentally, hurting people or forgetting dates and events. In the next 2 weeks, Mairead, just be mindful of maybe promises you make, showing up places on time, even if that's not something that's usual for you. I don't know if it is or not. I know for me, I have a hard time with it, but I try to be mindful of it. Just be mindful of that. There's something important coming up in the next week or two that if you don't take it seriously enough, it's going to end up being really bad for you. However, because you've come so far and you've been through so much, especially I'm seeing like in the last year, 18 months, maybe 2 years, the universe wants to reward you. It just wants you to make sure that you're giving time to yourself. Okay, this makes a little more sense. Even if you're penciling time in for yourself and being like, okay, I have to do this for this person. I promise to do that for that person. Wait, where did I fit myself in today? Okay. The loyalty, the devotion, the patience, the kindness, the love, the everything that you've given so many others to your own detriment throughout your life is finally coming back to you tenfold. But the first step in that happening is you giving that to yourself. Lead by example with yourself. How do you want to be treated? Treat yourself that way. Because if you're disrespecting yourself or not caring for yourself or breaking your own boundaries, people are going to see that and you're going to attract and draw the wrong people in. And I know you've been through hell and back, especially in the last couple of years, maybe even like more recently. So make sure you start prioritizing yourself. Again, even if you have to like write down on a schedule time for self, time to watch TV or whatever it is that you like to do. And make sure the people you're surrounding yourself with have all of the amazing qualities that you yourself have, because you're going to be giving all of these wonderful things and showcasing all of these wonderful qualities to these people. So if they're not reciprocating, that means there's no reciprocity of energy, which means you're giving, and they're taking. And that's how you end up, not just you, but anybody ends up falling back on their face and taking 10 steps backwards instead of standing in their power and refusing to accept anything less than what they're giving. And in fact, I say you should have come to accept from at least some people in your life more than what you're giving them, because you've always been the giver, the kind one, the one that puts up with it, the one that XYZ. If you absolutely must have certain people in your life because for whatever reason you can't break ties with them right now, you should be expecting more from them. Make them make it up. Make them earn your trust. Make them earn your love, your respect, your appreciation, things like that, without stepping outside of yourself.
Next is Eris.
Eris, I think I'm also going to use the oracle of the universe. Oh, awesome, Mairead. You're so welcome, sweetheart. Come in anytime for a reading. I just looked at fat shadow person. I don't know. I don't know half the conversations you guys have because I'm always channeling. All right. Sir Eris, you got the bright star Canopus. Guidance. Canopus. Yeah. Not cannabis. Canopus. I may have been right the first time. I don't pretend to know how to pronounce some of these Greek names. Eris, take wise counsel from those you trust. Accept assistance when you need it. We cannot know everything, so look for a genuine subject matter expert. Use both your mind and intuition to make decisions. Seek and you shall find. Canopus is the brightest star in the Carina constellation. Canopus, or Alpha Caninae, is considered a class F giant on the main sequence of stars and is very rare. F-class giant indicates it has a mass close to that of the sun. It is one of the 58 bright stars selected for navigation, and this is fitting since the star makes up a part of the boat of the Argonauts. Canopus was the brightest star of the ancient Greek constellation Argo Navis, which represented the ship, the Argo, on which Jason and the Argonauts sailed on their mission to get the Golden Fleece. The constellation was eventually split into three smaller ones in more modern times, Cariba, Puppis, and Vela, representing the keel, stern, and sails of the ship. The Carina represents the main body of Argo Navis, and Canopus rests on the blade of one of the steering oars of the boat. The ship itself was magical, created under the watchful eye of the goddess Athena. The ship was built by its inventive creator Argus, considered the best shipbuilder in Greece, but designed by Athena. She ordered it to have wood from the sacred grove in Mount Pelion and the mast to be made from a sacred oak from Zeus's ancient sacred oracle at Dodona. The oak beam was able to speak and give guidance to the men and Jason because it came from the oracle of Zeus. Words of power, I welcome wise guidance, I am divinely guided. Good night, Miss Cindy. All right. Eris, this is about, and I guess this is sort of becoming a theme for the night. It's about trusting who you're taking advice from, or not really who you're taking advice from, who's giving you advice. Even if you're asking someone for advice about something, especially in the next 2 weeks, make sure you question why certain people are giving you the advice that they are. Is it for their own selfish means, or is it really because they have your best interest at heart? I feel like there's a relationship with someone you trusted very much that's about to come to an end here, because you're finally onto the fact that this person is only in whatever the situation is with you for self. Follow your intuition, follow your own intuitive guidance from your guides, from your angels, your ancestors, your deceased loved ones, your team, right? And then go and ask for the advice anyway, even when you know 1000% what to do. And that's how you're going to know whether or not you can trust someone. You already have all the answers you're seeking. I feel like you need to trust yourself enough to really know and understand that you do have the answers already, but also so that you can really know and understand who's really with you and who never had any intention of really helping you out and is only trying to gain from your losses.
Divine is next, but I don't know if she's still here.
Divine Empathic, please let us know if you're still here.
And while we wait, Carrie F., I don't know if she's still here.
Carl.
And then Pixie.
Miss Pixie, I know she's here. Good night, my sweet love. Mama Cindy, if you didn't get my Facebook message, you may have emailed me already. I see you, Divine. I haven't checked in a couple of days, but if you haven't, please email me. I'd like to send you something in the mail for all you do. And just because my guides have moved me to send you a specific thing. So if you accept mail, I would need that information. Okay, so we're going to do Divine and then Pixie. And then how many are left?
2. If, oops.
Okay.
Well, if Kari doesn't answer, it will be Pixie, Neely, Keely, how you say that, and Heather. And that's it.
Okay, cool. All right. Divine. And Melissa. Melissa did come back in. She fell asleep. Yeah.
She did? I didn't see her pop back in.
She'll just have to go last. You're welcome, Eris. All right, Divine Empathic. I'm using Queen Maeve. You got the Forgeries of Jealousy, card number 41. Step out of the illusion. Jealousy, envy, or comparison is currently coloring your perspective and showing you an unreal vision of the world and your place in it. As a social creature, it's natural to compare yourself to others, but sometimes you become blinded by the false narratives that arise in response to these comparisons. This is what's happening now. Extricating yourself from this mental trap is actually quite simple, and it can even be instantaneous. Here's how. Question the story you're telling, and tell yourself a new one. For example, you may believe that when someone is thriving according to external and measurable factors, they are thriving exactly as much as they appear to be. They have no problems and everything is permanently great for them. Believing this story sets you up to feel that you can never measure up. In fact, this is never true. Everyone suffers and everyone has challenges you don't see. Or you may believe that if someone else has something you want, it makes it less likely that you can also have what you want. But someone else having something you want is actually proof that you can have it too. Change the story and your experience will change. Smile and say to yourself, what the goddess has provided for so-and-so, she now provides for me and more. Sometimes your jealousy may fabricate a story that a friend or significant other is being deceitful or loves someone else more than they love you. That's why before you react, it's important to take the time to discover what is actually true rather than what your jealousy attempts to convince you is true. Regardless of the form the forgery may take, the reality is that you have plenty, the world is beautiful, and there is much to be grateful for. The more you believe this, the truer it gets. So you need not be miserly about love, abundance, belongings, or anything else. For as one wind of fortune recedes, another is already on its way. Worry not and fret no longer about what others are experiencing. Look instead to the endless breezes of blessings continuously blowing your way. Don't wait. At this very moment, remove your focus from the illusion of lack and open your eyes to the reality of your luck. What you choose to see will multiply. So, Divine, this may be true that you are comparing yourself to others a little bit too much. And if it is, again, change the narrative. It's not easy to change the narrative. What becomes hard is believing in the new narrative. But I feel more like this is you. This is your time in the sun. And what you need to do is continue to tell yourself how far you've come and to remember when things weren't as great. So it's easier for you to see the blessings, even with all of the struggles that you're still dealing with. Don't let anything deter you from getting out there and meeting new people. Thank you, Ghost Dragons. Meeting new people and taking chances and doing things that you've always wanted to do, but either never had the courage or never felt like you were able to until now. This is you really taking life by the horns or the bull being life and taking the bull by its horns and blazing your own path. Okay. And not allowing any comparison to others thwart you from living your best life, making the best decisions for you, and also not being talked out of something simply because someone who may be jealous of you tries to talk you out of it. Don't be fearful of taking risks and trying new things. I also do see the envious green-eyed monster being aimed at you by someone else. Just be sure to remain the same kind, loving, grateful, beautiful human being that you are at all times. And don't let someone else's false narrative of who you are make you question who you are. Know who you are down to your core and know it well enough and know that it's true enough to not skip a beat when someone throws some jealous negativity at you, to understand that for exactly what it is. Now, I'm not saying you have to love your enemies. I believe you can love your enemies from afar, because we should love as many people as we can, right? From afar. Don't try to convince someone that you're good or kind or caring. If they don't already know that by the way you've treated them in the past, and they want to take someone else's opinion about it or form their own opinions based on, I don't know, the way you look or the way you seem, let them. Let that be okay. Go and live your life to the fullest. After everything you've been through, and I think I could say this to everybody in here, myself included, after everything we've all been through, light workers specifically, we deserve to be happy. And we deserve to chase after that happiness regardless of anything else, as long as we're not hurting anyone else. And if other people don't like to see it, they're probably not meant to be in your life. Don't let anyone steal your glow up. Don't let anyone take away your power. Not ever again. Who's next? Pixie?
Yes.
All right. Miss Pixie,
Grey
I'm
Wolf
going to...
just came in.
Okay. Hi, Grey Wolf.
I didn't know if you saw her. I'm sorry.
Okay. Miss Pixie, I'm using the Fairy Forest. Good to see you, Miss Grey Wolf. We got Marie came in. Miss Grey Wolf came in on this morning. Wow, that makes so much sense to the false narratives, and on opinion based on someone else's totally resonates. Good. So there's your second opinion, if you will. Go for it. Go for the gold and go for it with gusto, if you will. Don't ever stop. You deserve it. Okay, Miss Pixie, you got the Sigil Keeper. Card number 38, symbols, signs, and messages. When the Sigil Keeper comes to you, there will be no words. Instead, there will be shapes and signs and messages flowing, as though a language of symbols is being shared with you. When she comes, you are being encouraged to participate in this process by creating and shaping your own magical symbols and beginning to consciously choose the symbolic language that you are creating and connecting with every single day. Lara, you may wish to find a symbol at this time that represents you and the part of the journey you are exploring at present. You may wish to look around your home and see what hidden symbols have worked their way into your life, and you may wish to rearrange these, remove some, replace others with symbols that are consciously chosen to be of greatest magical support to you at this time. Look at your clothing, what you wear, and see the symbolic nature of this, and go through your jewelry and consider carefully the energy of its symbols and whether you wish to connect with this. Sigil work is simple but ever so powerful, and this amazing being is a reminder to work with intelligence and to exercise your choice at all times. You must choose carefully now what symbols you keep about you, for they have shaped you more than you have ever truly considered. Miss Pixie, while this is talking about, thank you, Divine Empathic. Thank you guys so much. And anyone who donated on PayPal or Cash App, thank you. Miss Pixie, I'm sure you know all about sigils and symbols and maybe even sacred geometry, which keeps popping into my head since I pulled this card. I feel like the universe is trying to let you know that I'm seeing feng shui, but it's not feng shui. There needs to be some reorganization of some things in your personal space, whether it be your entire home or the office or the room you use most to do your rituals or even where you live stream. I feel like there needs to be a recirculation of energy. And you also have to make sure that you're not accepting negative energy or really anything lower vibrational from anyone, not only into your being, but into that personal space. Let the world know who you are, not only by the way you dress, but this is a weird message. So it's like, it's more than about just who you are as a human being. whether that be fortunately or unfortunately. It's about the image you're presenting. The universe wants you to show people who you really are more than through deed and word. Be entirely paranormal pixie at all times, not just when you feel you're going to be accepted as she. You know, be who you are deep down inside always, no matter who you're with, no matter what group you're in, no matter where you are. Don't tone yourself down for anyone. Don't dumb yourself down for anyone. Don't refuse to speak about things that excite you and that you're interested in because you fear someone else won't want to hear them. Don't allow people like that to affect you in that way. If they're not meant to be around you, they shouldn't be around you. And you'll know right away. I do see this too as like a quote unquote spring cleaning in February. Get the energy circulating, maybe sweep widdershins after doing a saging and a cleansing. Even if you just did one, I'm seeing a blockage of energy through your personal space. And that's the main message here. So you may want to use symbols and sigils and things like that to keep it going for a little bit longer until the next time you get around to doing it. I hope that makes sense. That was a little bit of a weird message. Purging, rearranging, and trying to show my whole self. Perfect.
Okay, next is Keely.
Miss Keely, I'm using Black Moon Lilith. Miss Graywolf, how are you? It's so nice to see you. Putrefaction, shadow release, Keely, card number 37. That is so awesome, Miss Pixie. Good, because sometimes the fairy forest cards throw me off a little bit. Sometimes their messages are very deep and intrinsic and really geared towards the person I pulled the card for. All the messages are, but that deck particularly and a few others, it's like laser focused on your energy. And sometimes it's hard for me to put my filter through it or put it through my filter. Oh, Miss Graywolf, what happened? Jesus, that just sounds painful. Keely, how you view the world is how you view yourself. When the putrefaction oracle card shows up, it's time to face the difficult situations within you and become conscious to what you are projecting into the world. Psychoanalyst Carl Jung described the shadow as our untamed true nature that we hide from the world to feel safe and accepted in our environment. The authentic side of ourselves is hidden by a mask to protect itself when we experience trauma or challenges. This card calls for you to do inner work around how you perpetuate suffering in your own reality. Keely, where are you projecting your own shortcomings, pain, trauma, and angst onto others? Projection occurs when you are triggered and reactive to your outer world. This is because of pain from past traumas or difficulties that are buried beneath the surface. Think of when an objectively beautiful person walks into a room and immediately receives jealousy and judgment from those in the room who feel insecure in themselves. An alchemist will use moments like this as an opportunity to cleanse their shadow through releasing others' opinions. Putrefaction is the fifth phase of alchemy and one of the most emotionally challenging because it requires an honest look within. Scientifically, putrefaction is the decomposition of organic matter. Use your life as a spiritual practice and start to release unconscious patterns. Doing so will create space for new, healthy patterns. Purge and integrate the dark energy within you. Shift negative projections into self-empowerment. This is growing through your traumas, right? And your pains, dealing with the shadow part of yourself, the part of yourself that makes snap judgments on people because of the way they look, or the part of you. Do you have something? Is everything okay? Oh, you looked like you wanted to say something. Or, anything that you feel you'd like to change about yourself, the way you behave or the way you think. Now is the time, Keely, to start doing that. And you'll find that the more you look within, like I notice when I go to judge somebody, like I talk out loud to the TV all the time. I'll be like, you got to be effing kidding me. Figures, I do things like that. Not as much anymore. And then I'm like, whoa, Gemma, why did you just say that? Why did you just judge that person based on X, Y, or Z? And I've got to look inside myself, and I had to think, oh, okay, well, I don't like that person because they reminded me of this person who's hurt me in the past, or I don't like that person because that person has everything that I'm trying so hard to gain, and it looks like it was just handed to them. Really looking inside of yourself for the negativity you may be putting out there, even if you're not doing it on purpose. This is talking about things that we really do, at the snap of a finger, at the drop of a hat, without even realizing it. These negative attributes to our personality that we're more than aware of, but that we try to hide from other people. Instead of hiding them from others, you can still do that. But instead of hiding them from others, the universe is saying, work on changing them. Work on changing these particular things, especially from the inside out. So now, whenever you go into a room, there's nothing more to hide, and you could just shine and shine brightly. And a good way to do this is, just like I described, to stop and ask yourself, why do I not like this person? I just met them. Everyone else seems to think they're great. Is my energy getting something off them? Or is there something I'm jealous of? Is there something about them that reminds me of someone else? Really looking at why you're feeling these negative emotions. Is it justified or isn't it? And if it is justified, why are you around people that, you can be justifiably negative towards? You can justifiably not be able to stand the sight of them, or you need to get rid of them. If it's not justifiable, you got to figure out what it is and work on not doing it by looking inward, really getting to the heart of the trauma, the heart of the issue, and moving forward from there, and just being your glorious, beautiful self, vibrating as high as you possibly can at this moment in time. Yes, Kelly, you're absolutely right. She said, especially when we are suffering through other things, I think that negative attitude is without thought. For sure. Ever since I lost my source of income, I've been much more grumpy, much more pessimistic, much more, cryy, like I cry more now. And if you had asked me 4 months ago when I had that amazing job, I would have been like, no, my life is great. I have some complaints, but I'm good. Now I'm like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. But it's not. It's really just money. And it's just the universe making room for an even bigger opportunity. It's just the universe's timeline isn't the same as ours. So, 10 years to the universe seems like 1,000 years to us. Who's next?
Heather Burko, but she's not answering. So, Heather, if you're still here, say something. If not, Grey Wolf will be your last one for the evening.
Heather Boyko and Melissa Nicole, please let me know if you guys are still here. I don't see her anymore, though. Heather Boyko and Miss Melissa. Let's read for Grey Wolf. Grey Wolf. Let's use Black Moon Lilith again. That took that Christmas gift is now in my living room on the length of shelves my mom gave me. Okay, Melissa, you'll be next. Just seeing if Heather Boyko is still here. And then we're going to end, guys, because that shower, it's calling me. All right, Miss Grey Wolf. Adam, dark divine father of creation. Thank you, Miss Grey Wolf. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the super chats, super stickers, PayPal, Cash App donations. All right, Heather, you'll be next, and then Melissa Nicole. So right now, Grey Wolf, then Heather, then Melissa. That's right. Heather did say that she's still learning the chat. Take your time. I'm just really glad you came back in because we did miss last week, but normally we do not miss a week of this. So hopefully we'll continue to see you and be able to share in your experience here and in your spiritual growth. Miss Grey Wolf, the Adam Oracle card signals a time to heal your dark divine masculine shadow, a shadow that may originate with the father, paternal, ancestral patterns, and imbalances in relationships. Adam's story can show us the toxicity that can develop around power struggles between masculine and feminine, and why it's important to heal it within. The Adam Oracle card raises the example of what not to do and encourages you to release toxic masculinity that has held you back in your life. Adam was the first man and counterpart to both Lilith and Eve. In both biblical myths, he is portrayed as the defenseless man who just wanted submission from Lilith. He was then tempted into sin by Eve, who bit into the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Both creation stories teach that women who don't submit to their husbands are evil, and that if they are not controlled, they will tempt their husbands into sin. Masculine energy as a concept is used in occult teachings to describe efficiency, competition, and action. Feminine energy is associated with emotions, the senses, and feeling. Everyone has a level of masculine energy within them, no matter their gender identity. You can gain an understanding of your masculine energy in your birth chart by looking at the zodiac signs most present in your chart. The masculine signs of the zodiac are represented by the active air and fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Water and earth are the sensory feminine signs, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Stand in your own power through supporting and harmonizing with others. You are transmuting your dark divine masculine power into light. Grey Wolf, we talk about this a lot, you and I, through your personal readings that you've been getting every month for years now with me. This is you understanding that you're only in control of your own actions, okay? And anyone who's trying to put their actions, reactions, responses, thoughts, feelings, etc. on you, I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do this. You made me do that. You made me feel that way. No. I'm sorry, no. Yes, we can hurt other people, but if you're not doing it on purpose, you probably shouldn't be made to feel bad about it, right? You should be able to be like, I'm really sorry that I made you feel that way. You try not to do it again and move on. This is very bullying energy. And I've been seeing this energy around you for a long time. I do get that it's probably a male, and this card kind of confirms that, even though I never like to say 100%. This is you standing up for yourself. This is you understanding that some people are going to behave in certain ways no matter what you do, no matter what you try, no matter what you think, say, feel, beg, plead. It doesn't matter. There is nothing you can do to really change another person. You may be able to change their viewpoint, but if they're not willing to do the work from the inside out and put the time in, then it's not on you. Grey Wolf, in the next week or two, at the very least, the universe wants you to either start or continue. Don't be pulled out of this, focusing inward on yourself. How can you become better? Not that there's anything wrong with you, but how everyone has room for improvement, right? Everybody. So how can you improve? How can you be more kind, more grateful? How can you enforce more of your boundaries when it comes to these types of lower vibrational garbage people? And I'm sorry if this is someone you care about, but they do have very garbage energy. I'm sorry, it's gross. I have people like this in my life too, so don't feel bad. I'm not trying to judge or indict you. This is not letting anyone take you off this path or this course of self-discovery, okay? Especially if you're laid up with an injury, nothing but time. Work with your guides, work with energy, enforce those boundaries unapologetically, and don't let anyone make you feel bad, dumb, stupid, any type of lower vibrational way for wanting to work on yourself. And also don't do it because anyone else is asking you to or telling you you need to. Do it because now is the time. And I feel like you know that. Even if you can't fully get away from this person physically, detach emotionally. Learn how to do that through self-exploration, and wake up every day and be grateful for the things that you do have and maybe that you don't have to deal with, that you used to, you know. Just don't give up on this journey you're on, because I do feel like someone is trying to guilt you out of it, or mock you out of it, or shame you out of it, or abuse you out of it. They're not happy with you growing as a human being and as a woman. And tough titty, said the kitty, but the milk's still good. Too bad for them. Okay? Celebrate you. Talk to you like your best friend. Absolutely. I love you too, sweetie. All right, Heather, and then Melissa. So Heather, I'm going to use Let's use Alice in Wonderland, and then Melissa will use the Moonology. Yeah, you know what, Keely? Boundaries are hard to set, but for me, it's like I can easily set a boundary. It's the enforcing that I have the issue with. I can say, if you do that again, I'm going to never talk to you again. But I don't follow through. And that's an issue a lot of light workers have. All right, Miss Heather. Good night, Miss Murray. Love you. Thank you for coming in. All right, Heather. Wake up. It's your moment. Card number 25 in the upright position. Wake up, Dormouse, and they pinched it on both sides at once. Heather, when this card comes to you, you can be sure that you have the spotlight turned directly on you. You are being asked to wake up, to be present to what is being asked of you, and to rise to the occasion. Although you may feel like withdrawing and not being so very visible, there is no running away. You cannot sleep through this moment, for others are eagerly waiting to hear from you. They are ready to listen to and enjoy what you have to offer, to finally hear what you've been wanting to say for a long time. You may feel like you're not ready. You may hesitate to speak. You may be hesitant to speak up. You may also wish to withdraw and hide, either in sleep or in hibernation, but there's no turning away from your moment. And when it comes, as it will, make it count. Tell your story, speak up strong, share your words and thoughts. If people interrupt and demand explanations, continue on regardless. The time for sleeping and dreaming is over. Suddenly and almost quite unexpectedly, it's time to awaken and share the wonders you have within you. Divination, a rude awakening. Being asked to deliver before you feel ready, being present and fully engaged with what is happening around you, making a contribution, being assertive despite your gentle nature, insisting on being able to tell your story, making the moment count, sharing with others who are ready to listen. Heather, you're going through something here where there is going to be a rude awakening, okay? But I feel like it's something you've known for a while. I just feel like being presented with actual evidence of whatever this is going to be rough. That's an understatement. But this isn't a time for you to go into hibernation and silence yourself. This isn't a time for you to have to feel all of this negativity, all of this pain or trauma or anger, whatever it is. And it may be all of those things and more. When you're faced with this evidence, with this fact that you can't close your eyes to anymore, now is the time to speak up and tell people your story. This doesn't mean talk poop about the other person or the other people involved, but maybe that'll make you feel better. And you know what? With what this person has done, I say go ahead. Make sure that people know that you do have a side to this story. Make sure people know that there are going to be people that are going to be wanting explanations for your behavior in the next month or two. You're going to have to at least tell some people why certain things are happening, why you're making certain decisions, even though you technically don't have to answer to anyone. I do feel like if you really thought about it, there are a few people you may want to give an explanation to. Just make sure it's people you trust, because you don't want anyone that's going to pour gasoline onto the grill, right? Or onto the fire, really. I just see betrayal. I see anger, pain, lust. Heather, it's okay to keep certain parts of yourself, your life, and your relationship private, but I feel like you're going up against someone who is going to, once you're presented with this evidence, there's no more denying what they did for them. Did to you, by the way. They did this to you. Knowingly, fully well knowing what they were doing and how it was going to hurt and affect you. I feel like they're going to do everything they can. This is a narcissist, by the way. They are going to change the narrative and make you into the bad guy. For some reason, like normally spirit teams, the universe is like, you know what, just let them. For some reason, though, I feel like just allowing this to happen, that's not part of your process. What you're supposed to do here is defend yourself. Let the world know who this person really is and what they did. It may bring in more embarrassment and humiliation than you think it's worth, but at the end of the day, that's not how people are going to be looking at you. They're going to be looking at this person like they should be ashamed of themselves. If you pull into yourself and say nothing and just allow the situation to play out, which so many light workers do because we can't handle conflict, confrontation, or any more trauma than we've already been through, because we get the lion's share of it as far as humans go. This person is going to turn even the people you trust most either against you, or they're going to be looking at you sideways like, well, she never said anything about it, so maybe she is hiding something, and you're going to be forced to go through this by yourself. Instead, put this person on blast. Let the world know what you went through without feeling shame or guilt. And that you may feel like that's impossible, but the universe is saying it's not. Take the risk, take the chance. It will be worth it in the end. You will come out stronger, on top, and holding all the power to do what you wish with. Now, when you are presented with this information and you decide to confront this person, which you will, it's not even worth telling you don't confront them about it or ask them about it, because your team is like, there's no way she's going to not bring this to this person. Like, I could just see you now, like, don't let them victimize you further by spreading gossip and lies about you or making you feel like the bad guy. Did I cause them to do this by behaving that way? Was my being mad because, they forgot my birthday 3 years in a row and didn't give me a Valentine's Day gift 5 years in a row, knowing it upset me? Did I cause them to cheat? I'm not saying anyone's cheating. I'm just using that as an example. The answer is no. That's neglect of a relationship, right? And cheating is just another symptom of that. Don't let this person take your narrative, take your trauma and your pain and everything they did to you and turn it into their own trauma and create their own narrative about it. Yeah, Heather, it was being done behind your back. That's 100%. But I don't think you're completely oblivious to it. Either deep down inside and you've known for some time, or you've had an inkling here and there. You're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And you've moved on. But then it was like a week later, you're like, that didn't make sense either. And you just trusted this person so much that you refused to. I remember I was with somebody and like every morning their alarm would go off at like 3:30 in the morning. So one night I was like, listen, can you please turn that alarm off? I trusted them so much. It didn't even occur to me that it was a 27-year-old drug addicted prostitute calling my boyfriend in the middle of the night to come pick her up. Didn't even occur to, I thought he just accidentally set an alarm until I looked at the phone and saw her name, which was very similar to mine, actually. It could be that type of situation where it doesn't even occur to you to think this person did X, Y, or Z. All right, Melissa, let's get you a reading, honey, and Mama is going to take a nice hot shower. Keely, absolutely. That's why I always say it's not just for me for views. I always recommend sticking around to the end or coming back and watching later on. So if I got maybe 30 people tonight, that was a lot. But if you come back in a week and look at the views, it's between 200 and 300. That's because people enjoy listening to the entire stream and taking every ounce of information that resonates with them and putting it into practice in their lives. And I say this not with conceit, but with such pride and dignity and happiness. This stream does so much for so many. And that's why it's important to me that I never miss any. And if I do, like last week, it's only because it absolutely cannot be avoided. This stream is make or break for so many people, myself included, because I go back and listen and I take the advice, because I can't just sit and read for myself. It's very hard for me to do that. All right, Miss Melissa. Yes, Miss Pixie. Oh, Keely, thank you. I hope I am. That is my main goal, is to help others. Heather, you're so welcome. And like I said, if you ever need to talk, you can email or Facebook message me, and I will. Email is probably better for the first message because I hate Facebook Messenger, the feet people. And I'll just give you my number because you're right in Jersey. You just text me. That would be fine. That basically goes for anyone in here. If you're in the United States and texting is easy, because I don't do WhatsApp or anything like that, I would have no issue with that. All right. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. There's Damien. He's like, I can't wait for the pot roast because my mom's making pot roast. That's my boy. All right, Melissa, last reading of the night. Keely, I was tearing up too. It happened so much. And you know, when people come in here sometimes, like their first few times coming in, they'll either cry during stream or they will, as soon as the stream's over, they'll start to cry. That's just having a spiritual reaction. It means you're connecting. Do you know what I'm saying? It means that you're resonating with the energy of the room and with the messages coming in. And it's actually really normal. Yeah, Heather. Yes, you can. You can, I would think, let me think. If you go to my, you know what I'll do? I'll send you a link to the stream in Facebook Messenger as soon as it ends. And you click on it and you can watch the whole thing again. Yeah. Any of my videos on my channel, I have over 1,000 videos and, hundreds of live streams of Oracle streams. So yes, I will send you the link specifically to this one though, as soon as this is over in your Facebook Messenger with my phone number. You got it. No problem. All right, Melissa Nicole, let's do this. I know you do, sweetie. First quarter moon in Gemini. Heather, I've got to admit your energy in stream when I'm like open and connected is so much softer than your energy on Facebook. On Facebook, I see you as like this, and I'm not saying you're not this, but I see so much more of this very confident, just badass energy. And when you're in here, I still see that on you, but there's also a lightness and a sweetness to you. There's like a really good balance to your energy and your personality. And that's really cool to see. Hello, Shivan Chai. All right, Melissa, think about what you want. Do you really believe you can create it? Do you believe you have what it takes, or do you secretly doubt yourself? Worse, are you quietly preparing for failure? Say it ain't so. Here's the thing, you can't fool the universe. Repeated affirmations that you don't believe in are just a waste of time. Believe in your own magic. If someone has spoken or written unkind words to you, counter them with kind words to yourself. Try it. Speak your world into being. Talk about it as though it's already happening. Here you're being asked to feel your way through a situation that's partly sacred and partly mundane. Be compassionate and be clever. Ask your soul to speak to you. Listen to your heart and not your mind. Write lists of your goals. So Melissa Nicole, yeah, this is not a time for overanalyzing, overthinking, thinking something to death. This is about not even really listening to your heart. Your heart is a very big deceiver. Your heart thinks in terms of love, and that's not what you need right now. You need to go deep, primal, into your intuition, the very wellspring of your being. I used to make this mistake. I would write 500 times an affirmation, but I never thought that way throughout the day. I never said it out loud throughout the day. All I would talk about during the day was how it wasn't going to happen. It's like counteractive. You have to really believe it. And I tell you guys, expect it as though you expect the mail. Okay. Expect it like, the mail comes between 4 and 5, say, Monday through Saturday. That's how you expect your affirmation to come in. You may not know when, but it's coming. That's what I keep trying to tell myself. And I keep trying to manifest, like, that contract ending for me overnight and out of nowhere when I had no idea it even could end. And I was making so much money and I was finally, for the first time in my life, financially independent. I just woke up one day and was like, oh, I have no income at all except donations. Great. It was devastating. But I keep telling myself that was the universe taking away something great to bring in something fantastic. And I try so hard to just expect that's what's going on. Whatever this situation is, you're not manifesting what you're trying to manifest because you're not doing the work. And this isn't a judgment. It's very hard to do with like looking deep inside and thinking in your head all the ways that it will work, all of the different roads that could lead down the path of it working. So say you're trying to manifest $1 million. You can't be like, well, I'll never be a millionaire. That's impossible. Well, then you never will be. But if you think, okay, if I go back to college and I get a 2-year degree and I work at this firm and I do a 10-year plan, but maybe you want a 1-year plan. Okay, sit it down and figure it out. And then tell the universe that is how you will become a millionaire. Tell them, don't ask, tell, and then believe it and watch it happen. It is extremely hard to train your mind this way, but it can be done. I've done it. Tennille healed herself of like, I don't know if it was cancer or something very life-threatening and similar. Over the course of like 18 months, she manifested this disease and sickness out of her. Ask her about it one day when she's in here, if you're here in the beginning with her, or if you have a way to speak to her like on Facebook or something. Ask her. She'll tell you. All right, everybody. I love you all. Heather, as soon as I sign off here, I'm going to send you in Messenger the link to this and also the link to my channel so you can watch, if you ever get bored, all of my videos and live streams. And I'll send you my phone number. You can text me anytime, day or night. And sometimes it takes me a few hours or a little bit to get back to you, but I always will. Anyone else, email me, GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com. You guys, I'm going to rush because I'm hungry and I want to shower. Mandy, you are welcome anytime. Your uncle will give you my phone number. That invitation's open to you as well, okay? Hang in there. And if there's anything I can do, reach out. I love you guys. Miss Smoochie, good to see you again. We'll talk privately at some points. And good night.